ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन गुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णु पदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते महाविष्णु गोस्वामीति नमः। नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामीति नमः। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्त। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं दैवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु। द्वितीयं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गिरिवरधारी। जय जशोदा नंदन जय ब्रजजन रंजन। जय जशोदा नंदन जय ब्रजजन रंजन। जय जमुना तीरवन चारी। जय कुंज बिहारी। जय जमुना तीरवन चारी। जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare He Govinda He Gopal Keshava Madhava Dina Dayal Dina Dayal Prabhu Dina Dayal Dina Dayal Prabhu Dina Dayal Shyama Sundar Kanhaiya Lal Keshava Madhava Dina Dayal Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Shri Gurudev ki Jai Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Krishna Gaur Chandra Premanande Hari Hari Bol Jai Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is today Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai Hare Krishna all glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to the official Guru and Shri Bhagavan ki Jai Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Shri Gurudev ki Jai. So Hare Krishna. Okay, now we're continuing with our discussion on the very important topic of Sri Krishna Janmashtami, and we are doing a series. This is part 2 of the bewilderment of Lord Brahma. So last week we discussed about the part 1, the bewilderment of Lord Brahma, and I hope that you all remember what was discussed, and we can continue with the conversation. So here we discussed that Lord Brahma had taken away the cows and the cowherd boys, being puffed up, thinking that he wanted to do mischief against Krishna. And we discussed how he overstepped his limits. He mentioned the very nice words that he unnecessarily he took a wrong decision and created a confusion for himself and real sorry situation for himself, humiliated himself. Now we'll discuss further. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Vitarasham Mahavishnu Visham Pranam. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Vitarasham Bhaktivedanta Swami Pranam. Namo Sasasya Deva Prasad Shri Sri Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shri Sadi Gaur Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram, Ram. So please, if you can switch on your cameras. And all of you, last week we discussed and told us what inspired you from the discussion. We'll have a combined inspiration for today's program and today's class. So when Lord Brahma returned after a moment of time had passed, is according to his own measurement, he saw that although by human measurement a complete year had passed, the Lord Krishna, after all that time, was engaged just as before in playing with the boys and calves, who were his expansions. You see? So Brahma had gone away only for a moment, but when he returned, a whole 1 year had passed of human time. On different planets, the calculations are different. We discussed also, recapping that a man-made satellite may orbit around the Earth in space in just 1 hour, 25 minutes to complete one full day. You see, on the space, the orbit, when the space shuttle or satellite rotates the Earth from space, it takes only 1 hour, 25 minutes for one day to complete. Whereas ordinarily people living on Earth will take 24 hours. See? And this is a fact. I asked you to check. You can check the Google if you want to, and you'll find the answer. They say it's 90 minutes. It's 125 minutes according to Srila Prabhupada. So therefore, what is a moment's time for Brahma is like the whole year for Krishna, for on earth, And Krishna continued to expand himself in so many forms for 1 year. And by the arrangement of Yoga Maya, only the person can understand this was Lord Balram. So after just a moment's time, when Brahma's calculation, when Brahma came back to see the fun by his stealing the boys and calves, but he was also afraid at the same time that he was playing with fire. Krishna was his master, and he had played mischief for fun by taking away Krishna's cows and boys. He was really anxious, so he did not stay away for very long. He came back after a moment of his calculation. So when Brahma returned, he saw that all the boys, cows and calves, were playing with Krishna the same way as before when he had left him. So by Krishna displaying of his Yogamaya potency, the same pastimes were going on without any change. So Yogamaya is the spiritual energy of Krishna. Mahamaya is the material energy of Krishna. Both are energies. Now, as we understood that Lord Balaram, he did not go, he was not bewildered, he was not taken by Lord Brahma because it was his birthday, appearance day, 1 year ago. And his mother kept him for the Shantika Snan, special bearing ceremony. Therefore, Lord Balaram was not taken away by Brahma at the time. And after 1 year, when Brahma came, exactly 1 year, it was again the birth appearance of Lord Balaram. So he was again absent. You see? So, therefore, he also understood about this whole thing just about 5-6 days or nights before the 1 year was completed. When he saw himself that how come all the cows and cowherd men had so much attraction for their offsprings, more than normal. Then I understood something is wrong. it must be Krishna who was helping out, who has played this thing. And that is the reason why he could understand that what is going on. And Krishna explained to him this. And this is the reason why Lord Baldev was not kidnapped by Lord Brahma. Now, before I go ahead, I'm just checking, can everybody hear me well? Everything all right? With no audio?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Just like last week, all good? No disturbance there, yeah? Now, let's continue further here. So now Brahma thought, he said, whatever boys and cows there were in Gokul, means he had kept in Gokul, the cave, I have kept them sleeping on the bed of my mystic potency. And to this very day, they have not yet risen again. He made them sleep in Gokul. Now, understand this whole process now. So for 1 year, Brahma kept the cows and the boys lying down in a cave by Brahma's mystic potency. So when Brahma saw that Krishna was still playing with the cows and the cows, he began to reason out with himself what is happening, because he has 4 brains, you see, and the topmost living being on earth, in the universe. So it's very powerful that way, to think very fast than us, better than us. He says, what is this? He thought, maybe I took cows and cowherd boys away, but now they have been taken from the cave. Is that what has happened? That Krishna went and took them from the cave? Has Krishna brought them back here? He was thinking. And then he thinks that, well, Lord Brahma saw that the cows and boys had been taken, were still in the same mystic Maya into which he had put them. He had not moved. So thus he concluded that the cows and the cowherd boys now playing with Krishna were different from the ones in the cave. So he could understand that although the original cows and the boys were still in the cave where he had put them, Krishna had expanded himself. And so the present demonstration of cows and the boys consisted of expansions of Krishna. He understood it. They had the same features, the same mentality, the same intentions, but they were all Krishna. He's thinking that a similar number of boys and cows have been playing with Krishna for 1 whole year. Then he's thinking that yet they are different from the ones illusioned by my mystic power. Means they are there because I have captured them. They are separate, but they're playing with him for 1 whole year. He thought, who are they? Where did they come from? So the purport said, although appearing like cows and cowherd boys, they were all Vishnu. They were actually Vishnu Tattva and not Jiva Tattva. The earlier were Jiva Tattva, you see, original cows, cowherd boys, cows. So Brahma was surprised. The original cowherd boys and cows thought are still there where I put them last year. So who is it that is now keeping company with Krishna exactly as before? Where have they come from? Brahma was surprised that his mystic power has been neglected, means overpowered. All his big powerful things have been completely overpowered. Without touching the original cows and cowherd boys kept by Brahma, Krishna had created another assembly of cows and boys who are all expansions of Vishnu Tattva. So Brahma's mystic power was superseded. So now, does Lord Brahma thinking for a long time, tried to distinguish between those 2 sets of boys who were each separately existing. He tried to understand who was real and who was not real, but he couldn't understand at all. You see, right now we have been studying Bhagavatam, which has been revealed to us because we are dumb. It's already been revealed that they were Vishuddha, they were Jiva Tattvas, and now Krishna responded himself. But Brahma did not know them. So he's thinking and thinking very hard. Because in the universe, all the demons also, and Hiranyakashipu also took blessings from Brahma. Everyone had to take blessings from Brahma. He's so powerful. So now he's thinking that he's playing with fire. He's playing with some personality who's far beyond him, far beyond his pay grade, as we call it. So Brahma was really puzzled. The original boys and cows are still sleeping as I kept them. But another set is now playing with Krishna. So what is happening? So Brahma could not grasp what was happening. Which boys are real, which are not real. Brahma was unable to come to a definite conclusion. He pondered the matter for a long time. How can there be two sets of cows and boys at the same time? Have the boys and cows here been created by Krishna? Or has been created or has Krishna created the one lying asleep? Or both are merely creations of Krishna? So here all these three questions running. Are the currently which I'm seeing are Krishna? Or the one which I've taken are Krishna? Or both are not Krishnas? Or permutations he was thinking with his four brains, So Brahma thought about the subject matter in many different ways. After I got to the cave and see that the boys and the cows are still there, does Krishna go take them away and put them here so that I come here and see them? And does Krishna then take them back from here and put them there? Oh, Brahma could not figure out how there could be two sets of cows and cowherd boys exactly alike. Although thinking and thinking, he could not understand at all. Just because Lord Brahma wanted to mystify the all-pervading Lord Krishna, God, who can never be mystified, but who, on the contrary, mystifies the whole entire universe. He himself was put into the bewilderment by his own mystic power. You understand this point? Krishna can mystify the whole material creation. And Brahma wanted to mystify Krishna. How is that possible? Now Krishna, Brahma is also materially created. So he's an illusion of Krishna. So he's been gained. He's been played completely. So Brahma wanted to bewilder Krishna, who bewilders the whole entire universe, you see. And Krishna says, Mama Maya Duratraya. The whole universe is under my mystic power. And Brahma wanted to mystify him. See, now we know and we can laugh. It doesn't exist there. That's why the pastime is narrated to us for our understanding. So the result was that Brahma himself was mystified. And he was defeated in his own attempt. The same way, the scientists and philosophers want to overcome Krishna's mystic power. They challenge Krishna. Say, where is God? We can do this. We can do this. We can do that. We don't need God. But the more anyone and more they challenge Krishna, the more they are implicated in the suffering. It increases. So the lesson here is that you should not try to overcome Krishna, rather just endeavor to and don't endeavor to surpass him. We should surrender unto him. Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam saranam. Aham tvam sarvabhyabhyo mokshayasya masasya. We should give up all our tiny efforts to justify the arrangement, defy the arrangements of Krishna. God. Instead, whatever arrangements he proposes, we should accept. This is always better, for this will make us happy. The more we try to defeat the arrangement of Krishna, the more we become implicated in Krishna's Maya. But one who has reached to the point of surrendering to the instructions of Krishna, Mam eva ye prapadyante, he is liberated, free from Krishna Maya. Maya metam taranti. Beautiful. Absolute nectar of Prabhupada. This is the position of the conditioned soul. Brahma wanted to mystify Krishna, but he himself was mystified. See, and Vishnu pervades the whole material world, whereas Brahma merely pervades or occupies one subordinate post in one universe. See, in the Brahma Samhita also there is a nice verse, 548. It says that Yasyai Nishve Sitakala Mathavalambhya Jivanti Roma Vilaja Jagadanda Natha. So the word Natha is plural. Natha or Natha means singular. So Jagadanda Natha. Jagad means universe. Anda means like egg shape, universe. Natha means owner, but Natha means own, more than one owners. So it refers to, it's a plural. Because there are innumerable universes and innumerable Brahmas. So Brahma is but a tiny force that is exhibited in now, and all these Brahmas are subordinate to Krishna. This is a very nice pastime which we have discussed in the past, worth referring here, that how Brahma experiencing Dwarka opened his eyes. So one day when Brahma came to see Krishna in Dwarka, the doorman looked at doorman at Lord Krishna's request, asked him, which Brahma are you? I'm Brahma. So okay, boss is asking, which Brahma are you? So he's saying, what do you mean? What do you mean? Which Brahma am I? Later, Brahma, inquired from Krishna when he met Krishna. Okay, what did he mean by? Is there whether this means that there are more than one Brahma? So Krishna smiled and at once called for many Brahmas from many universes. And the four-headed Brahma of this universe then saw innumerable other Brahmas coming to see Krishna, offer their respects. Some of them had 10 heads, some had 20, some had 100, some had million heads. Upon seeing this wonderful exhibition, Brahma, our four-headed Brahma in the smallest universe, became nervous and began to think of himself as no more than a mosquito in the midst of all these many elephants. There are bigger Brahmas than him. Therefore, what can Brahma do to the elder Krishna? See, that's the point. So, as the darkness of the snow on a dark night, in the light of a glowworm, in the light of day, has no value. The mystic power of an inferior person who tries to use it against a person with greater power is unable to accomplish anything. Instead, the power of that inferior person is diminished. So never ever try to supersede your superiors. Don't do it. We'll become like mosquitoes in front of big elephants. So when one wants to supersede a superior power, one's own inferior power becomes ludicrous. Just as a glowworm in the daytime and snow at night have no value, Brahma's mystic power became worthless in the presence of Krishna. For greater mystic power condemns inferior mystic powers. So Krishna's Maya was not diminished in value, actually, but Brahma's Maya was condemned. Therefore, one should not try to exhibit one's insignificant opulence before a greater power. Okay. So today we are going to discuss many points about six chapters, six divisions of. So the first part is over. Anyone has any questions or anything to share? Please feel free. Yes, Padam, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Haribol.
Prabhu, I had one question that when Brahma took the cowherd boys in the cave, So did like Brahma's 1 second is almost a year here. So when the cowherd boys were there, so did they feel like that long when they were in the cave, or they feel like 1 second?
What do the cowherd boys feel?
Yes, sir.
So it'll be revealed soon. Today we are concluding your part six. We're going to six parts. The first part is a good question. Very nice.
I had one another question I had from the
Okay.
last.
From the last, okay.
Yes.
Well, we have to see how it works, because I don't want to mix the two things.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Why didn't you ask me last week then?
Bro, when I rewatched the lecture yesterday, then I had that question.
You rewatched it yourself. Okay. Can you hold the question for the at
Yes,
the
yes,
end? Too?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very
Thank you.
nice. Hare Krishna. Okay. Yes, Father, who tell me?
Just wanted to share a relation में है Prabhu.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu. So on the point that you said that we feel like a mosquito in front of people who are superior to us. Yesterday in the youth session that we people have, we were discussing the same point that we think that we are very important for Krishna's service. That when we do something for Krishna, we feel that, oh my God, we are so important. But putting into context, he said that there are Brahmas. Brahma is the topmost being, and he is a very big devotee. He sings praises, and then there are other Brahmas, and other Brahmas manage so many universes, and those universes have so many other beings. And then Srila Prabhupada says that these are only 10% of the creation, 90% are in the spiritual world. So compared to that, our service feels so tiny, Prabhu, that, but we think that we are doing I think that I'm doing very big service, or Krishna will become pleased very easily. So that realization, thank you.
Yeah. It's 25% of creation. Yeah. Material world. Not 10%. Yeah. Good. Good. Thank you. Okay. Those who are switched off your cameras, any questions from you guys? Or we'll ask you questions. Okay. If you are not able to, you must make a mention. Otherwise, please switch on the cameras. Thank you. Okay, let's move on. Now, part two. So now here we are going to discuss that Brahma saw all the cowherd boys were exactly like Vishnu. Very mystically, very mercifully, Krishna showed him that all the cowherd boys, cows, and everyone were actually Vishnu Murtis. It's a very, these notes here are very deep notes. So it will take us many hours to discuss this particular segment. So I'm going to skip and speak on some important points because there are very deep philosophical meanings in it. And I think because we have a mix of devotees, advanced, middle, and lower, myself also is low. I'm not lower beginners. I'm also beginner. So we have to be a little careful, and I'll skip a bit points here. So please bear with me. So here, while Lord Brahma looked on, all the cows and the boys standing there immediately appeared to have complexions, the color of bluish rain clouds. Sanjay Prabhu is saying, okay, I'm outside. Once I reach home, thank you very much. Sanjay Prabhu. Okay. So he saw that while Lord Brahma looked on, all the cows and the boys standing there immediately appeared to have complexions, the color of bluish rain clouds, and to be dressed in a yellow silken garment. He saw that. So while Brahma was contemplating like this, all the cows and the cowherd boys immediately transformed to Vishnu Murtis with bluish complexions. Brahma was contemplating his own power and the immense, unlimited power of Krishna. But before he could come to a conclusion, he saw his immediate transformation. Krishna was very merciful and he showed this transformation. Then there's all these personalities, Krishna said, they had 4 arms. Sukadeva Goswami is saying, they all had 4 arms, holding conch shell, disc, mace, and lotus flower in their hands. They wore helmets on their heads earrings on their ears, and garlands of forest flowers around their necks. On the upper portion of the right side of the chest was the emblem of goddess of fortune. Furthermore, they wore armlets on their arms, the Kaustuba gem around their necks, which were marked with three lines like conch shell, and bracelets on the wrists, with bangles on their ankles, ornaments on their feet, the sacred bells on, around their waists. They all appeared very beautiful. See? Now, here, all the Vishnu forms had four arms with conch shells. You see? They also possessed, you know, Srivatsa Marg, Kaustuba Jam around. Vishnu himself included Krishna. All the opulences of Vishnu are already present in Krishna. And consequently, for Krishna to demonstrate so many Vishnu forms is actually not very astonishing. You see? Then every part of their bodies, from their feet to the top of their heads, were fully decorated with fresh, tender garlands of tulsi leaves, offered by devotees engaged in worshipping the Lord by the greatest pious activities, namely hearing and chanting. See? So, so these forms of Vishnu were worshipped by those who had performed pious activities for many, many births and who were constantly engaged in devotional service. So this is Krishna's eternal form as Vishnu. So those forms depicted what unlimited living beings have been worshipping them for unlimited lifetimes, births, each of them taking so many births, unlimited births. Bhakti or devotional service is the engagement of those who have performed highly developed pious activities. So only then we can perform bhakti yoga. Or we can't perform bhakti yoga. After we've completed all kinds of pious activities. So when we say that Prabhuji, I struggle with my chanting, I struggle with my chanting, we struggle with our reading, we struggle with our so many things. Mind goes here and there, we get distressed, disfocused. We cannot focus upon serving Krishna. Obviously. Because bhakti yoga is the topmost form of one's expression of love for Krishna. So we have been given it very easily. So we have to qualify for it. We have to be qualified for bhakti. See? The accumulation of the past activities have already been mentioned. You know, we discussed about this words. I think I've given one class on this, Vasudeva Goswami, Kuta Punya Punja. Itham satam brahma sukhanubhutya dasyam gatanam paradaivatena maya shitanam naradarakena sakam rajuhu kuta punya punja. Very beautiful. Those who are engaged in self-realization, accepting the Brahman effulgence of the Lord, and those engaged in devotional service, accepting the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the Master, as well as those who are under the clutches of Maya, thinking the Lord an ordinary person, cannot understand that certain exalted personalities, after accumulating volumes of pious activities, are now playing with the Lord in friendship as cowherd boys. How beautiful it is. We cannot understand who they are. Unlimited past activities. So in our Krishna, Prabhupada mentions this point also, that there's a tree in Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram temple, which was nearly very neglected. After the temple was constructed, devotees worshipped it, it's now growing. That's called Bhuri Punya. Chandrika Vishadas, Chandrika Vishadas Mare Smeraihi, Saruna Panga Vikshutaihi, Swakarthanam Iva Rajah. Satvabhyam Shushtir Palakaha. Now, Swaka Arthanam. Swakarthanam Eva Rajaha. Swakarthanam. So the desires of the devotees is very important. And Satvabhyam. Rajaha Satvabhyam means by the modes of passion and ignorance. Now, how did this passion and ignorance come with Vishnu Tattvas? Let's understand this. So, this is the translation is that those Vishnu forms, by their pure smiling, which resembled the increasing light of the moon, and by the sidelong glances of the their reddish eyes, created and protected the desires of their own devotees, as if by the modes of passion and goodness. Again, those Vishnu forms, by their pure smiling, which resembled the increasing light of the moon, and by the sidelong glances of the reddish eyes, created and protected the desires of their own devotees, as if by the modes of passion and goodness. Because passion is usually lower part, it's lower modes. So these Vishnu forms bless the devotees with their clear glances and smiles, which resemble the increasingly full light of the moon. They glance upon their devotees as a maintainers. As a maintainers, they glance upon their devotees, embracing them and protecting them by smiling. The smiles resemble the mode of goodness, protecting the devotees, the desires of the devotees. And the glancing of their eyes resemble the mode of passion. Now, though for those who are a bit introspective and getting caught up, understanding what is this passion-based business here, it cannot be. So here is the understanding of it. So actually, in this verse, Rajaha means passion, but actually it is affection. In the material world, Rajagun is passion, but in spiritual world, it is affection. In the material world, affection is contaminated by Rajagun, Tamagun, and Tamagun. But in the Shuddha Sattva, the affection that maintains the devotee is transcendental. See? Now the Swakarthanam, which refers to the desires of the devotees, as mentioned in this verse. The glance of Lord Vishnu creates the desires of the devotees, creates desires of the devotees. But a pure devotee has no desires, you see. So how does this relate to these two things? It's a bit of a philosophical point. So Sanatana Goswami mentions here that he comments that because the desires of devotees whose attention is fixed on Krishna have already been fulfilled, the Lord's sidelong glances created variegated desires in relation to Krishna and devotional service. They don't have any personal desires. In the material world, desire is product of Rajagun and Tamagun. But desire in the spiritual world gives rise to a variety of everlasting transcendental service. We discussed that it keeps on increasing service to Krishna. Last week we discussed that one. So thus the word Swakarthanam refers to the eagerness to serve Krishna. We should be very eager to do our devotional service. In Vrindavan, there is a place where there was no temple, but a devotee desired that there be a temple. In Seva, there is devotional service. Therefore, what was once an empty corner has now become a place of pilgrimage. Such are the desires of a devotee. And Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala. He fulfills the desires of all the devotees. Even our desires Krishna fulfills. See, all beings, moving and non-moving, from the four-headed Lord Brahma down to the most insignificant living entity, had taken forms and were differently worshipping those Vishnu Murtis. Brahma could see that, according to their respective capacities, with various means of worship, such as dancing and singing, You can worship Krishna while dancing and singing also. So innumerable living entities are engaged in different types of worship to the Supreme, of the Supreme, according to their abilities and karma. Krishna and Nityadas. So there is no one who is not serving. Therefore, the Mahabhagavat, the topmost devotee, sees everyone as being engaged in the service of Krishna. Only himself does he see as not engaged. We have to elevate ourselves from lower position to a higher position. And the topmost position is that of direct service to in Vrindavan. But everyone is engaged in service. Denial of the service of the Lord is Maya. Only Krishna is Supreme Master, and all others are his servants. As Krishna desires, everyone dances according to his tune. Ekale Ishvara Krishna, Ara Sabha Bhrutya, Yare Yaicha Nachaya, Setaicha Kareni. So there are two kinds of living entities, moving and non-moving. So trees are example of non-moving. They stand in one place, whereas ants move. So Brahma saw that all of them, down to the smallest creatures, had assumed different forms and were accordingly engaged in the service to Lord Vishnu. You could see that division. So one receives a form according to the way one worships the Lord. Repeat again. Repeat again. One receives a form according to the way one worships the Lord. In the material world, the body one receives is guided by the demigods. This is sometimes referred to as influence of the stars. Bhagavad Gita 327 says, Prakriti Kriya Maharani. According to the laws of nature, one is controlled by the demigods. So all living entities are serving Krishna in different ways. But when there is Krishna conscious, but when they are Krishna conscious, their service is fully manifest. As a flower in a bud gradually fructifies, the yield is its desires and yield its desires aroma and beauty. So when a living entity comes to the platform of Krishna consciousness, the beauty of his real form comes into full blossom. That is ultimate beauty and the ultimate fulfillment of desire. How beautiful is this? This absolute nectar. So all the Vishnu Murtis were surrounded by the auspicious, by the opulences headed by Anima Gun, by the mystic potencies. Excuse me, 1 second. All the Vishnu Murtis were surrounded by the opulences headed by the Anima Gun, Anima Siddhi, and the mystic potencies headed by Aja, and the 24 elements for the creation of the material world headed by the Mahat Tattva. See, Anima Siddhi means smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest is Mahima Siddhi. Yeah? Yoga Siddhis, the Yoga Siddhis. So 24 elements are Pancha Karmendriya, 5 working senses. Pancha Gnanendriya, 5 senses for obtaining knowledge. Pancha Mahabhuta, gross material elements, 5. Pancha Tanmatra, sense objects. The mind, Mana, ego, false ego, Ahankar, and Mahatattva, and material nature. Material nature is 3 modes of material nature. See, when Lord Brahma saw that Kal, the time factor, Swabhava, one's own nature by association, Sanskara, deformation, Kama, the desire, Karma, fruitive activities, and the Gunas, the 3 modes of material nature, their own independence being completely subordinate to the potency of the Lord, had all taken forms And we're also worshipping those Vishnu Murtis. See, the spiritual world is a very different situation. All these inferior, they're also worshipping personalities. No one but Vishnu is independent. If we develop that Krishna consciousness of this fact, then we are actually in Krishna consciousness. Be one, even Narayan or Lord Shiva, everyone is subordinate to Krishna. Sarva Virichi Nautam, Nutam. Even Baldev is subordinate to Krishna. This is a fact. Ekela Ishwara Krishna Ara Sababhutya. Yare Yaiche Nachaya, Tetaiche Kare Nutya. Charitamrita, Adi 5:142. One should understand that no one is independent, for everything is perfect, is part and parcel of Krishna, and is acting and moving by the supreme desire of Krishna. This understanding, this consciousness is Krishna consciousness. Okay? We discuss even Kal has many assistants. You remember my class? We had a discussion of this class. Kal, time has many assistants. Remember this discussion? Somebody? Long time after that, so many classes you must have heard. So what about that? Swabhav, samskara, kam, karma, guna. Swabhav, the one's own nature. So now, tamagun, rajagun increase the lust and greed, which implicate a living entity in such a way that he must exist in this material world in many, many forms. And it is very dangerous. Lower modes. We should never be victim of the lower modes of tamagun, rajagun. One should therefore be brought to sattvagun by establishments of varnas and dharma, and should develop Brahmanical qualifications of being very neat and clean, rising early in the morning and seeing Mangal Arati, and so on. In this way, one should stay in Sattvagun, and then one can be influenced by Tamagun. Cannot be influenced by Tamagun and Rajagun. Now, the Vishnu Murtis all had eternal, unlimited forms of Brahma saw, full of knowledge and bliss, and existing beyond the influence of time. Their great glory was not even to be touched by the Gnanis engaged in studying the Upanishads. Now, here something which comes, which is very important to me, and it is a very catch thing. We, as devotees, can be caught by this. Sometimes we have to study things and give classes, and we feel that Gnan is supremost, topmost. But Gnan cannot help us. Here is the verse. So, mere Shastra Gnan or knowledge of the Vedas does not help anyone understand the personality of Godhead. Only one who is favored and shown mercy by the Lord can understand him. This is explained in Mundak Upanishad. Nayam Nayamatma Pravachanena Labhyo Name Dasana Bahuna Shrutena Yam Evasha Prushnute Tena Prunute Tena Labhyas Tasyaish Atma Vivrunute Tanum Swam. The Supreme Lord is not obtained by expert explanations, by vast intelligence, or even by such much hearing. He is obtained only by one whom he himself chooses. To such a person, he manifests his own form. So don't expect that Krishna should dance in front of you because we are suddenly become devotees. This proves that Brahman and Paramatma can actually be understood only by devotion. The Supreme is blissful with no tinge of unhappiness. Although he is the oldest, he never ages. Although he is one, he is experienced in different forms. See that the impersonalists can only understand through the studies of the Upanishads that absolute truth is not matter and that the absolute truth is not materially restricted by limited potency. Yet, although Krishna cannot be seen through the Upanishads, in some places it is said that Krishna can in fact be known in this way. He is known by the Upanishads. Upanishadam Purusham. This means that when one is purified by Vedic knowledge, one is then allowed to enter into devotional understanding. Mad bhakti labate. So don't think devotional service is that cheap. Don't think that because we're chanting some rounds, suddenly we are cooking for offering to Krishna, we're trying to control our senses, we will perform devotional service. Of course we are. It's a process to perform. Real bhakti begins at the liberation stage. So Brahma realized that Lord Vishnu is a reservoir of all truth, knowledge, and bliss. He is the object of worship for the followers of Upanishads. Brahma realized that all the different forms of cows, boys and calves, transformed into Vishnu forms, were not transformed by mysticism of the type of a yogi or demigod can display by specific powers invested. The cows, calves, and boys transformed into Vishnu Murtis or Vishnu forms were not displays of Vishnu Maya or Vishnu energy, but they were Vishnu himself. It is important to understand. They were all actually Vishnu. So thus Lord Brahma saw the Supreme Brahman, by whose energy this entire universe, with its moving and non-moving living beings, is manifested. He also saw at the same time all the cow, the boys, as the Lord's expansions. So by this incident, Lord Brahma was able to see how Krishna maintains the entire universe in different ways. It is because Krishna manifests everything that everything is visible. Otherwise, it cannot be visible too. Yeah. So with this, we conclude the part 2 of our discussion. Now, anyone has any questions or realizations for this part 2 before we move on? Okay, let's come to part 3. Here, Lord Brahma is jolted by astonishment and stunned by the transcendental bliss seeing the effulgence of Vishnu Murtis. Tato atitu, tato atitu, tato atiku, tu, ko, dhruve, drutya, tato atiku, tu, krodvat, tato atiku, tu, ko, drutya, tikutu, ko, dhru, DVRTA, Drutya, Tatoti Kutu Ko Drutya. Very interesting. Look at tongue twister. Actually, it is a combination of words. Tataha Ati Tutuka Udrutya. If you combine together, it becomes Tato Ti Kutu Ko Drutya. Stivi Taika Dashendriya Tad Dhamna Dhu Ajastushnim Urdevi Antiva Putrika. So here, Ati Kutuku Udrutya Stimita Ekadasha Indriya. All this one word means whose 11 senses had all been jolted by the great astonishment and thus stunned by the transcendental bliss. Obviously, the word has to be twisted, because Brahma's whole 11 senses were jolted, seeing all this, and then Tushrim, he became silent. So, now here. Then, by the power of the effulgence of those Vishnu Murtis, Lord Brahma, with his 11 senses jolted by astonishment and stunned by the transcendental bliss, became silent, just like a child's clay doll in the presence of the village deity. He became stunned. He could not understand anything. Wow. So Brahma was stunned because of the transcendental bliss. And all his senses were stunned because of astonishment. So Brahma had considered himself absolute, thinking himself the only powerful deity. But now his pride was subdued, and he again became merely one of the demigods. An important demigod, of course, but a demigod nonetheless. So it is forbidden to compare Narayan even to demigods like Brahma and Shiva. What to speak of others? Therefore, one who at the end of his life remembers Narayan attains the perfection of life. So the Supreme Brahman is beyond mental speculation. He is self-manifest, existing in his own bliss, and is beyond the material energy. He is known by the crisp jewels of the Vedas for the refutation of irrelevant verses. Thus, the relation to that Supreme Brahman and the personality of Godhead, his glory has been shown by the manifestation of all the four-armed Vishnus. Lord Brahma, the Lord of Saraswati, was mystified. What is this? He thought, and then he was not even able to see. Lord Krishna, he actually, when he saw Vishnu Murtis like this, in worship in this way, he could not even see after that. The vision got blurred. Lord Krishna, understanding Brahma's position, then at once removed the curtain of his yogma. See, Brahma was completely mystified. He could not understand what he was seeing. And then he was not even able to see because he couldn't believe what was happening. See, Brahma is the husband of goddess of learning, Saraswati. Yeah. So therefore, Brahma is most intelligent. He's the husband. But even Brahma, the Lord of Saraswati, was bewildered about Krishna. Although he tried, he could not understand Lord Krishna. So in the beginning, the boys and the cows and Krishna himself had been covered by Yoga Maya, which later displayed the second set of cows and boys, who were Krishna's expansions, and which then displayed so many four-armed forms of Vishnu. Now, seeing Brahma's bewilderment, because he first he was confused about the two, which side is this is one set, there's another set, which is real, what is not real. Then all of them turn into Vishnu tattvas, all Vishnus. So Lord Krishna caused the disappearance of yoga of that yoga maya. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is a very important personality for us. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that it was yoga maya potency by which Krishna sometimes manifests and sometimes does not manifest. The potency which covers actual reality and displays something unreal is Mahamaya. But the potency by which the absolute truth is sometimes manifest and sometimes not is Yogamaya. So Krishna Yogamaya was working there. So one should just imagine what is that is not burned by fire. This is negative definition. How one cannot really understand Krishna. It's nearly impossible to understand Krishna. One has to infer Krishna. And so the process of devotional service through acharya and on authorities, one can have some understanding of Krishna actually. We're not going to understand fully what Krishna is. So Lord Brahma is existential consciousness, then revived. External consciousness. Lord Brahma's external consciousness then revived. He stood up, and just like a dead man coming back to life, opening his eyes with great difficulty, he saw the universe around along with himself. He saw the whole universe and he saw himself also in it. Then became his position. Once Krishna's Yogamaya potency is completely bewildering. Brahma tried to play mischief with Krishna to overpower him, but he was to such an extent overpowered that he even could not see, he stopped seeing things, think Vishnu Murtis. And then when he got up, he saw the whole universe. He saw himself inside the universe also. This is a very precarious position of Brahma. He was very, very embarrassed by this. Unnecessarily he took this upon himself, trying to show off. Then looking in all directions, Lord Brahma immediately saw Vrindavan before him, filled with trees, which were the means of livelihood for the inhabitants, and which were equally pleasing to all in all seasons. Actually, trees and vegetables, not industry, provide real means of life, not factories. Understand this. We have to understand this very, very important. We think factories gives us life and means of life, of means to be happy and healthy. No, it's not. It is the fruits and vegetables, trees and vegetables. You got it wrong. So Vrindavan is a transcendental abode of the Lord. So now Lord Brahma is seeing Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a transcendental abode of the Lord, where there is no hunger, anger, or thirst. Though naturally inimical, both human beings and fierce animals live there together in transcendental friendship. In Vrindavan, the forest animals are also as good as demigods, but they have no envy. Envy develops because of sense gratification. But in Vrindavan, there was no sense gratification. And for the only aim is Krishna's satisfaction. See, understand one thing. You have to understand this point. We also make this mistake. We think that, okay, I know some information, I've got some information. So I can do things better than my superiors. Yeah, materially it may be possible, but don't go spiritually in that way, please. This envy is the greatest enemy. We will not even gain knowledge from this by envious nature. And the same person will help us. People were envious of great authorities, even our acharyas, as I've discussed in the past. Their subordinates were envious of him. There are people who are envious of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he was the same age as them. So Mahaprabhu had to then accept sannyas. Otherwise, they were criticizing Mahaprabhu while simply dancing and singing. His own disciples, followers, you see. When they took sannyas, they tried to accept worship him. We are all very foolish. So everyone there in Vrindavan is happy by pleasing Krishna. Only if we serve Krishna, our focus is to focus upon Krishna, please him, serve him, you'll be happy and satisfied. So whether a Goswami or a tiger or another ferocious animal, everyone's business is the same, to please Krishna. Even tigers here are also devotees. So there's a specific qualification of Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, everyone is happy. The calf is happy, the cat is happy, the dog is happy, man is happy, everyone wants to serve Krishna in a different capacity. Thus, there is no envy. And Vrindavan is a physical place, yes. So Vrindavan is also a place where devotees come together. So we should not have enviousness amongst us. We have to be very, very careful. Krishna personally demonstrates that everyone has a right to live. This is Vrindavan land. Why should I live there and not? Why should I live and not die? No, this is material law. The inhabitants of Vrindavan think whatever is given by Krishna, let us divide it as prasad and eat. That is real spiritual socialism. In the material world, we may collect funds all over the world in order to distribute food freely, yet not even feel appreciated. The value of Krishna consciousness, however, will gradually be very much appreciated. Hmm. We are therefore trying to give humanity a chance, Prabhupada says. We want humanity the opportunity for a life of happiness, good health, peace of mind, and all the good qualities of God consciousness. Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any burning questions or realizations so far? We are on the fourth thing. Things start to move very fast now. Okay, that's good. Now then Lord Brahma, now we're discussing now that Brahma seeing the boys' calves, understand his inferior position. You know? So then Lord Brahma saw the absolute truth, who is one without a second, who possesses full knowledge and is unlimited, assuming the role of a child in a family of cowherd men and standing all alone, just as before, with a morsel of food in his hand. Yeah. So he saw all the Vishnu Murtis. This is searching everywhere for the cows and his cowherd friends. Now you can understand his absolute truth. And Krishna is standing there with all the Vishnu Tattvas, with his hand, small palms, which has got sweet rice and fruit falling down, assuming the role of a child born in a cowherd man's family. Searching everywhere for cows and the cowherd friend. Where have they gone? He is full of unlimited knowledge, Krishna, Agada Bodham. The Lord's knowledge is unlimited, and therefore one cannot touch where it ends. Just as one cannot measure the ocean. What is the extent of our intelligence in comparison to the vast expanse of the water of the ocean? Prabhupada said, when I went to America, my ship in the ocean was like a matchbox in the ocean, so small, tiny. So best course, therefore, is to surrender to Krishna. Don't try to measure Krishna. You see, I want to share one more point here. Devotional service. All of you, all of us are devotees of Krishna. We're trying to be. We're gaining knowledge. In Hare Krishna, we focus, our deities are the books of Prabhupada. We don't have any other things. So it can be seen as very dry. But you will, if you do not, the best way to associate with us, as per the mood of Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, is that we should have wisdom in us. Knowledge by itself makes us knowledgeable, which is important. But to become wise is to have implementation of knowledge. It's very important to understand this. Very, very important. If we are not wise, our knowledge is not put into practice. When we put knowledge into practice, that is when we'll be able to experience transcendence, especially if the knowledge is transcendental. Then the mind will not waver. You see, mind will not jump up and down. And if you are devotees of Krishna, then we have to be having that knowledge. Krishna is unlimited knowledge. We are limited. That is, we can be wise and guide people. You see, if we don't become wise in our association, then we really are missing something, in our association. Especially with us. Especially with us. in Hare Krishna WECAN. If we don't have wisdom, if we don't get wisdom, then we are missing the point. See, the material world, everyone thinks I'm the best man in this world. I know everything. One thinks, why should I read Bhagavad Gita? I know everything. I have my own interpretation of Bhagavad Gita. But Brahma rejected all these things. Brahma saw Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appearing just as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan, not demonstrating his opulence, but standing just like an innocent boy with some food in his hand, loitering in this cowherd with his cowherd boyfriends, cows and calves. Brahma did not see Krishna as Chaturbhuj, the opulence of opulent Narayan. Rather, he simply saw an innocent boy. Nonetheless, he could understand that although Krishna was not demonstrating his power, he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You see, it can be easily missed. I've seen that also. I've told many times in the past too. How do you know somebody is a very, very knowledgeable person? How would you know? I can tell you one thing. If we are not introspectively intelligent, we will be fooled to see the number of people following a person. That this person must be very important, must be very knowledgeable of in Shastra. I have seen those who are transcendent, very transcendental, hardly had any following. Of course, Srila Prabhupada had a lot of following, but still he struggled in India. Nobody followed him. See, even in the West, when Prabhupada would ask the question, so how many people follow you? Prabhupada said it's a very difficult process because we are in the process of bringing Brahmanas to the society. See? So not many follow because people don't want to become Brahmanas. They don't want to change. They're happy where they are. Everybody is thinking, what am I getting from this? What am I getting from that? Materially, we say, what is in it for me? Spiritually, we see what I get from this, what I get from this. See, Krishna, unnecessarily, Brahma became egoistic on him. Just because he could see that this boy is just loitering around with his young boyfriends and coward, and is born in a coward family. He could see Aghasura was killed by him. Still he got envious. Oh, I can show him I'm more superior to him. And he was completely bewildered as we discussed here. Totally. He could not even see what was going on. Vision was also bereft. So Krishna had to prove, although he doesn't need to prove, but he's been challenged to prove every time. The demons challenge him to come and kill him. Putana, Aghasur, Bakasur, all these people. Even the devotees do that. Brahma is his devotee. He's representative in the universe. Still, he became envious of Krishna and challenged Krishna. Just see. And Krishna had to very mercifully allow him to say the problem. You cannot control me. And to prove himself. Why, man? In this material world, we all are like this. We all are completely like this. We are envious people we are. Because Brahma, our own creator, is envious like this. There is no need for him to be envious. I'll read again. Brahma saw Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appearing as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan, not demonstrating his opulence, but standing just like an innocent boy, 5-year-old, with some food in his hand, loitering with his cowherd boyfriends and cows. Brahma did not see as a Chaturbhuja, Krishna as Chaturbhuja. Brahma did not see Krishna as Chaturbhuja, the opulent Narayan. Rather, he simply saw an innocent boy. Nonetheless, he could understand that although Krishna was not demonstrating his power, he was supreme person. So he had to be taught this lesson. Brahma now he could understand Brahma, that the same wonderful person was present like an ordinary child, although he was a master of the whole creation. Vedeshu Durlabham, one cannot reach Krishna merely by Vedic knowledge. Adurlabham Atma Bhakto, but when one becomes a devotee, then he can realize him. Brahma therefore became a devotee. In the beginning, he was very proud of himself for being Brahma, Lord of the universe. But now he understood here is a Lord of the universe. I am simply an insignificant agent. Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajan. So after seeing this, Lord Brahma hastily got down from his swan. His carrier is a swan carrier. After seeing this, Lord Brahma hastily got down from his swan carrier, fell down like a golden rod, and touched the lotus feet of Lord Krishna with the tips of the four crowns on his head. Offering his obeisances, he bathed the feet of Krishna by the water with tears of joy. See, Lord Brahma, he bowed down like a stick. He had a golden complexion. It was like a golden stick lying down. When you say Dandavat, Danda means stick. What means like a stick. So Prabhupada says it is not that one should simply say Dandavat. One must fall down like this. Showing that mercy. You see, thus Brahma fell down, touching the foreheads of the lotus feet of Krishna. And in his crying ecstasy, it is regarded as Abhishek bathing ceremony of Lord Krishna's lotus feet. He cried so much there. See, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is Narakruti. Means Nara Akruti. Means he is in the form of a human being. He is not in the four-handed form of Chaturbhuj, Narayan. The Supreme Lord resembles a human being. I think even Bible says this, Prabhupada mentions this. Bible says the same thing, that where it said that man is made in the image of God. So Lord Brahma hastily got down from his swan career and let his body fall down flat on earth. Usually demigods don't touch earth. They don't touch the ground. But Lord Brahma voluntarily touched the ground, bowing down his head. And you see, Brahma has four heads, you see. So although he had four heads, all the four heads go in four different directions. But he made all the four heads come together in one direction and touch their head tip of the throne and the head onto the lotus feet of Krishna. So although his intelligence works in every direction, he surrendered everything before Krishna. See? Now we understood this that Lord Brahma, through his tears, did the Abhishek of Krishna, right? Actually, his tears got purified. Nothing that we can do we can use it for Krishna. Abhishek. So the word Sujalaihi means that the tears were purified of Brahma. So Krishna is that important. And we have to understand this. We have to appreciate this. So rising and falling again and again, the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, and the lotus feet of Lord Krishna for a long time, Lord Brahma remembered over and over the Lord's greatness he had just seen. Now, with a faltering voice, he offered prayers, understanding that here was the Supreme Person. This is the position of Brahma. Now, we come to the last verse. This is the very last verse of Srila Prabhupada on earth. in the Srimad Bhagavatam. After this, Prabhupada left this material world. And this is the final verse which Srila Prabhupada narrated and translated. Those of you, that's why we request all of you to study step by step. You'll appreciate this only if you study Srila Prabhupada's books right from zero level upwards. Otherwise, you will not. Shane rathotthaya vibhrujya lochane mukunda padviksha vinamra kandharaha कृतांजलि प्रश्रयवान समाहितः सवे पथुर गदगदय इले तलया शनैः gradually अथ then उत्थाय rising vimrujya wiping lochan his two eyes mukundam at mukunda Lord Shri Krishna udviksha looking up vinamra kandaraha his neck bent Krutanjali with folded hands. Prasruyavan, you're humble. Samahitaha, his mind concentrated. Savepathuhu, his body trembling. Gadgadaya, faltering. Ailata, Brahma, begin to offer praise. Praise. Ilaya, with words. So gradually then, rising, wiping his two eyes at Mukunda, Lord Shri Krishna, looking up, his neck bent, with folded hands, very humble. His mind concentrated, his body trembling, faltering. Brahma began to offer praise with words. Translation by His Divine Grace. Abhachar Naravinda Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Then rising very gradually, wiping his two eyes, Lord Brahma looked up at Mukunda. Lord Brahma, his head bent down, bent low, his mind concentrated and his body trembling. Very humbly began with faltering words to offer praises to Lord Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace. Abhacharanaravindra Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Brahma was very joyful. Brahma, being very joyful, began to shed tears and he washed the lotus feet of Krishna with his tears. Repeatedly he fell and rose as he recalled the wonderful activities of the Lord. After repeating obeisances for a long time, Brahma stood up and smeared his hands over his eyes. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that the word lochane indicates that with his two hands, he wiped the two eyes on each of his four faces. Seeing the Lord before him, Brahma began to offer prayers with great humility, respect, and attention. Doesn't the Bhaktivedanta purpose depend from the Chakravarti? Srimad Bhagavatam, title the stealing of the boys and calves. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The summary of Lord Brahma, how Lord Brahma was bewildered by Lord Krishna. Have you not shown me today that both you, yourself, and everything within this creation are manifestations of your inconceivable potency? First you appeared alone, Brahma said. And then you manifested yourself as all of Vrindavan cows, cowherd boys, your friends. Next you appeared as an equal number of 400 Vishnu forms who are worshipped by all living beings, including me. And after that, you appeared as an equal number of complete universes. Finally, You have now returned to your unlimited form as the Supreme Absolute Truth, one without the second. So very clearly mentioned, Sarvam Khalva Idam Brahma. Everything that exists is an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because everything is ultimately part and parcel of Lord Krishna's spiritual existence. By Lord Krishna's causeless mercy, Lord Brahma personally experienced that all existence, being the potency of God, is not different from him. Now we come to the hidden meaning of this whole episode of Brahma, this mystical. Why did Brahma accept Lord Krishna to be his master if Krishna just manifested cows and boys, which Brahma had made them disappear? You see? So overall, people will understand this that okay, here Brahma took away all the cows, cowherd boys, and cows, and Krishna manifested it. So Brahma accepted him as God. Is it? Let us see. So after granting his son Brahma permission to leave, the Supreme Personality of Godhead took the cows. After that, Brahma prayed to Krishna. Krishna forgave him. And he says, after granting his son Brahma permission to leave, the Supreme Personality of Godhead took the cows who were still where they had been a year earlier and then brought them to the river bank where he had been taking his meal and where his cowherd boyfriends remained just as before. Listen very carefully now. It is said in this verse that the original cowherd boyfriends and cows were situated just as before, near the bank of Yamuna river and the forest respectively. So previously, the cows had disappeared within the forest, correct? First, and Lord Krishna had gone to search for them. Not finding them, the Lord had returned to the river bank to discuss the situation with his cowherd boyfriends. But they had also disappeared. Now the cows were once again in the forest, and the boys once again on the bank of the river Yamuna, ready to take their lunch. Srila Sanatana Goswami here explains, according to him, the cows and the boys remained in the forest and on the river bank respectively for 1 full year. Lord Brahma did not actually take them away to another place. Remember, I mentioned to you some 11 months ago when we discussed about how Krishna was doing his pastime of killing a Asura, and then Brahma comes, and then they just stop, just like the television serial. Okay? We discussed the whole thing. Now the inside meanings are revealed. Just like TV serial at the end, they reveal what actually happened. Is what actually happened. When Brahma took the cows away and cowherd boys and everybody, he took somebody else, Maya. I mentioned this to you. Remember? Nobody can take away. Just like Sita was not taken by Ravana. Real cowherd boys were still there. They were invisible for him. Lord Brahma did not actually take them away to another place. But the Lord's omnipotent illusory energy, the gopis and other residents of Vrindavan did not notice the cows and boys. Nor did the cows and boys notice the passing of 1 year's time. Here's your answer for them. Or feel any hunger or cold or thirst. All this was part of the pastimes arranged by the Lord's illusory potency, Yoga Maya. Brahma thought, I have kept all the boys and the cows of Gokul sleeping on the bed by my mystic potency. And to this very day, they have not arisen. They're sleeping there. A similar number of boys and cows have been playing with Krishna for 1 whole year. Yet they are different from the ones illusioned by the mystic potency. Who are they? Where did they come from? Nothing is invisible to the Supreme Lord. Thus the Lord Krishna appeared to be searching for the cows and boys only to enact a dramatic pastime of bewildering Lord Brahma. After Brahma surrendered and offered prayers, Lord Krishna returned to the original boys and cows who appeared exactly as before. Although their size had become somewhat increased, because 1 year had passed, the growth had become. Now, according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, since Lord Krishna was playing exactly like an innocent young boy in Vrindavan, after the four-headed Brahma offered his prayers to the Lord, maintained his role as a young cowherd boy and thus remained silent before Krishna. Now just see here, Brahma took away somebody illusory potency of Krishna, all the cowherd boys there. His friends remained in the same place, not seen by Krishna, by Brahma. And to show Brahma, Krishna appeared in all this list, all his cowherd boys, cows, and calves. Okay, and he went to Vrindavan with them. All his parents, all the mother cows were so happy to see them. Yeah. All this while we thought that Brahma had taken the cow. Mystery is solved here. They had not taken the cow. He had taken, he cannot take cowherd boys. The three sets, not two sets. Now you see, in all this situation, Krishna is in his whole opulence. He's acting. We discussed the point of the dramatist, remember? We discussed in detail about dramatist. He knows what is, but he acts in a way and make you believe that this is real. And I give an example of a horror movie where you show a person is in a entering some horror place and you're feeling scared, the person is alone, but there are 50 people around surrounding the person, you know. While he's acting as a single person and you're scared. Remember this? So now listen very carefully with this point. I know you all were sleeping in between. The philosophy is boring, but now we are awake. After the 400 Brahma offered his prayers, the Lord maintained his role as a young boy, young cowherd boy, and thus remained silent before Brahma. Krishna's silence indicates the following thoughts. What is Krishna thinking? Where did this four-headed Brahma come from? What is he doing? What are these words he's keeping on speaking? He keeps on speaking about me. I am busy looking for my cows. I am just a simple cowherd boy. I do not understand all this at all. Lord Brahma had considered Lord Krishna an ordinary cowherd boy and had treated him as such. After accepting Brahma's prayers, Krishna continued to play as a cowherd boy and thus did not answer the four-headed Brahma. Rather, Krishna, who was interested in rejoining with his cowherd boyfriends for the picnic lunch on the bank of the Yamuna River. It all started with a picnic, isn't it? You wanted to have picnic? Remember the discussion there? That's where it ends. Hey, what is this going on? Who is this Brahma? Why is he here? What are they doing? What are they talking about? O king, although the boys had passed an entire year apart from the Lord of their very lives, they had been covered by the Lord Krishna's illusory potency and thus considered that year merely half a moment. You got your answer, Padma? What indeed is not forgotten. Now we're concluding, like the television series is concluding now. It's all final episodes. How did it conclude? You got all these YouTube and Google questions, What is the ending? What is the ending? They write all the endings, Mr. Grandma, there are endings. We're coming to that now. What indeed is not forgotten by those whose minds are bewildered by the Lord's illusory potency, by that power of Maya, this entire universe remains in perpetual bewilderment. And in this atmosphere of forgetfulness, no one can understand his own identity. We all don't know our identity. We think we are this body. With my wife, my son, my mother, my father, I'm sad. I'm not sad for somebody else's father being killed or dying. I'm sad when my father dies. This is bewilderment by Krishna's potency. It affects us, not only Brahma. It is clearly stated here that the entire universe is bewildered. Thus, even great demigods like Indra and Brahma are not exempt from the principle of forgetfulness. Since Lord Krishna exercised his internal illusory potency over his cowherd boyfriends and cows, it is not at all astonishing that for 1 year they could not remember their position. Instead, by the Lord's external illusory potency, the conditioned souls forget their existence, not only for 1 year, but for many billions and billions of years. as they transmigrate throughout the kingdom of ignorance called the material world. The cowherd boyfriend said to Lord Krishna, "Oh, you have returned so quickly. We have not eaten even a morsel, one morsel in your absence. Please come here and take your meal without distraction now." Very good. So cowherd boys were congratulating Lord Krishna for having the cow, when he brought the cows back so quickly from the forest. Now Lord Krishna's beloved friends urged him to sit down properly and eat with his full satisfaction. Now, according to Srila Prabhupada, this is Prabhupada's disciple. According to Srila Prabhupada's Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cowherd boyfriends felt quite jubilant and very eager to eat with their dear friend Krishna. Then Lord Rishikesh, smiling, finished his lunch in the company of his cowherd friends. While they were returning from the forest to their homes in Braj, Lord Krishna showed the cowherd boys the skin of the dead serpent Aghasur. And that is the reason why when they returned back to go to Vrindavan, they discussed about Aghasur being killed exactly 1 year later. Are all questions answered? You tell me, is this not, if this is not mystical, what can be more mystical? Did you all even know this? I'm also surprised. Nobody has said this narration. We thought all this while this, Brahma's bewilderment was when Brahma took over the car, his cowherd boys, Krishna manifested, Brahma felt sorry, and this all done. It's not the case. He did not even take his cowherd boyfriends and cows. Okay, all questions answered. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Disciples ki jai. Hare Krishna. With this, we conclude our today's discussion and also with our discussion for preparation for Krishna Janmashtami. Krishna's world is mystical, dear devotees. We can be part of that mysticism. What is required is deep contemplation. If we are illusioned by illusory energy, then we are to be blamed. Even after becoming devotees, will be illusion. Even after becoming devotees are illusion. Only these books, especially original books of Srila Prabhupada, will see this. In these purports and the explanations, many times the reference Prabhupada says, we must study. Only Bhagavatam can help us. Only Bhagavatam can help us. Please study. We should study Bhagavatam regularly. Become studious about this. That will save us. Yes, this is the movement. Sankirtan movement is the age of Sankirtan. Big congregation, kirtans and all are going on. That's all right. That will only save us. No, not necessary. Not necessary. There are big arguments going on in the society. No? Some people say, well, only kirtan is enough to go back to Godhead, which is correct. Sankirtan movement is there. But if your kirtan can make you pure devotee, then if not, then chant Bhagavatam. You don't have to study Bhagavatam then. They're mistaken. Bhagavatam is also kirtan. They're mistaken. Bhagavad Gita is also kirtan. We have to sit down. We have to sit and study. We have to change our behavior accordingly. Srila Prabhupada has given us this treasure. We have to take out time to study. And I can tell you one thing, we will not find time to study. We will not find time to study. And now, especially as post-COVID, it's more difficult. So I understand, I'm part of the same equation. One thing works. With single pointed attention, if we pray to Krishna, please arrange such a way that I can study Srila Prabhupada's books. Please help me. If you keep praying, when he's satisfied, He will give you the time. But if you don't want to study, I'm telling you, as devotees also, you will jump here, jump there. It's finished. Our foundation should be Bhagavatam, where you can do wherever you want to go. Simple. We don't know what to speak. We don't know how to speak. People would call Prabhupada, "Hello, Swami, how are you?" He tolerated this. So please, we have to be very, very careful in what we do. How much time we are investing, how much time we are wasting is very important. You keep an account. If you want to waste your time, this is my time wasting time. You have that. I do that way. This is my time wasting time. So I waste my time. I know this. My time wasting time, done, finished, all done. Slowly it reduces over a period of time. See? We do all the nonsense thing at a time. But you should know, time wasting time. To finish all devotional activities, then time waste time. These are waste time. Time in the diary may done, time waste. And do that 2 hours, 1 hour, 5 hours, whatever you want to do that. And slowly you realize that, man, I'm wasting my time. Why am I doing this? Do something else. Yeah. So do that. Have a time waste time. Now, before we go, all this while, I ask you to say what is the one thing that stuck you, stuck for you, and all that. And you all say yes, you give an answer. Now, I started to say this, ask you this, because before after the class is over, people feel good and they don't feel good, they go to sleep and forgot about it. It's gone. Because I say, what makes you think? Tell me. So then you'll think and tell me this. Now, I realize that even that is not working. Because I asked you, what was last week that stuck, what you remember? What stuck you? Do you remember what stuck, what was stuck last week? Because you have been having so many classes of your own, you study, you've got material things, you've got spiritual things. So now I'm scratching my head even more. How do I make sure that something remembers? So I'm asking one important question. Okay, don't make me repeat this question. Remember carefully. If you have not wasted time today in last Sunday's class, okay, there's a good time. You may have wasted the time. You may not like what I'm saying. I don't have any capacity to speak, or realization is zero. So if you feel that no, you have not wasted time, or if you have wasted time, then tell me one thing which you will remember that will help in your chanting. May not be permanently, even for a day. You said this point or this pastime will help me in my chanting. Okay, is my question clear? I'll ask the question. Let me see who are not showing themselves. I'll ask them the question. Yes, Suchi Mataji, can you answer the question, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, am I audible? Hare Krishna Prabhu, am I audible?
Haribol, your voice is not very clear. Just a bit louder.
Yes,
Thank you.
there is some, I think so there is some problem. It will be audible after a while.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, it's very low, mother.
Should I rejoin Prabhu then? Or
No,
is it
that's
okay?
okay. You speak. Speak.
Okay, yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, now it is okay. Something happened now. It's all right now. Yes, please, sir.
Prabhu, the one point that stuck me.
No,
the entire,
what was my question? Repeat my question, please.
the question was that what is the one thing that will increase your chanting that you remember during the entire session, the course of entire lecture? That is the one thing, or that the thing that will increase your chanting.
Yeah, help you intensify your chanting. Last Sunday's and today's class, if at all. It means you may say nothing. Sorry, it will not help me. I can fully understand that. Because as I said, my qualification is not there. I'm very, very poor in this thing. I fully understand. So don't feel astonished that if you tell me this, sorry, nothing done. I think, thank you very much. And I'll feel very sad or matter of fact. But I'll thank you for telling me the fact. I'll work very hard, more harder. Yes. So please tell me. Tell everybody. Sorry.
Prabhu, the one thing that has I not say I don't know increased or what, but one thing that I'm making sure these days during chanting is the phenomena of time that you have mentioned in the previous lecture about Brahmaji's time and the 1 second of the earthly beings. And I've understood that I always feel that I have so much time because of my young age. I have a lot of time in my hand, and if I simply just have little waste time in the entire routine of my life, it would
You're not showing your face. Sorry, you're not showing your face. Camera on.
Yes, Prabhu, I'm just turning on the camera. I was joined with my phone.
Okay.
I've just entered the system.
Yeah.
Just a minute.
Yes, mother. Please.
Yes. So, so the one thing that I remember these days by chanting is the phenomena of time, that I really don't have a lot of time in my hand. And if I really waste the time, have a waste time written in my diary or in my sticky notes, that this is the waste time, the time that I can waste. So there will be a lot of scope when I'm writing waste time, if I really calculate.
It has helped me. It keeps helping me even now. Not time waste. From now on, this time it was time waste. Next time, remember time waste, time waste, time waste. But nothing has changed so far. Hopefully, it will change for you.
Yes, so that is why these days every time I chant, I feel that no, this is the time that I have fixed for my chanting appointment with Krishna. I am not going to do anything else. Previously I used to check my phone in between. I'll do this 3 chant round, and then rest I'll do in the evening or maybe after my all studies and all the schedules. So I still divide my chanting, because 2 hours in a stretch, maybe it becomes a little strenuous at times, but I still feel I still have increased 1 sitting chanting these days, that I really sit for 1.5 hour for chanting after completing my entire routine. Towards the evening I chant, and in the morning I do this 4-3 rounds, so that there is a state of focus in my studies. So these days I'm doing that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very
yes.
nice. So you got something out of this. Will help your chanting, intensify your chanting. That's very good. Always ask this question. Whatever you do, how will it help my chanting? Yes. And I was happy that you don't feel intimidated by this. Because sometimes you feel intimidated by this question. Okay, let's go. Those who are leaving, you will ask them again. So those who are leaving this conversation now in the question answer session, they should not leave. We will ask them the question. So running away will not be an answer. Okay, now who is not showing the face? Let's see the next one. Where is this now? Yes, Shushti Mataji, your turn. What was your answer, please? She's left. Okay, we'll wait for her to come back. Somebody else also left. They're running away. Nothing. Nobody answers. We'll answer the question. No problem. Sanjay Prabhu, I understand you are still maybe traveling, but if you can speak.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes.
You can answer the question. Don't even show your face. But if you
Yes,
can answer
Prabhuji.
the question, please. You know, you got the question, right? You understood the question.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yes, tell us.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji, first of all, for very wonderful class. And so, yes, Prabhuji, the one thing that I was thinking of, I realized that the one point that you described, that even not just the demons, devotees also try to test Krishna, they sort of like Brahma done that, Lord Brahma done that. So, and Lord Krishna's mystic power is so big, like we can't even imagine. So, and with this pastime, what I can take in my life, or what I can take out of it, that I can practically implement, is think about that I'm so insignificant in this world, and not taking importance to me. So putting Krishna in the center. So when we're doing chanting, I know I'm struggling at the moment, so the mind goes here and there. But these pastimes, the way you're describing it, the points, and while chanting, I can think on it, that particular point, that helps me in this way to focus on my chanting, probably. And last week, that the one point that still stuck in my mind, that putting Krishna, how beautiful it is that Krishna sitting in the center, like a lotus, and all the cowherd boys around it. So, yeah, imagining that beautiful picture it's always focusing our mind, probably. Yes. So this way, that will help me in chanting, probably.
Please focus on the chanting. How many days you can chant is fine. Keeping this focus, but it should help. The idea is that we should remember this. It's so mystical, this pastime. It's totally magical.
Yes, probably.
Yeah. It had never come out. After so many years of people doing this pastime, narrating this pastime, these points never came out. Including the three sets. There were three sets of coward boys, not two.
Yeah, I haven't heard. I heard just the past times there's one, only one sets of cowherd boys.
Yeah, I mean, it always struck me to say, how can, if Brahma kidnapped the cows and cowherd boys and calves, and Krishna manifested it, and then he said, I'm very sorry. How did it prove he's God? that was never answered,
Yes, yes,
Well,
probably. Thank
well,
you.
I hope that it helps your chanting. It helps my chanting too. Everyone is chanting helps. I'm all of your servant. Hope it will help my chanting. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Okay, now who is there next? Divanshi Mataji, would you like to?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah. For me, like what Sanjay Prabhu said.
Sopan Prabhu. Okay. Hare
Yes,
Krishna. Yes,
Prabhuji.
please tell.
As Sanjay Prabhuji also mentioned, and for me, the continuous listening about the Krishna is pastime. So, like, I never think, like, I know even continuous association of the devotees and listening to your lecture, especially this, not this one, but always when we listen, I feel like, I'm more connected, and that gives me joy, and that joy make me chanting continuously. So that really helps me. This is a continuous process, but it is really nice. I mean, I can say that this process is really helping me, like, slowly, but like, by again listening, like, continuously every weekly, and by listening, my faith becomes really strong, like, there is no word like, rather than that. So that really helped me a lot. Absolutely. And thank you, Prabhuji, for giving this 2 sessions. Thank you. I just missed a little bit in between because some sponsor is here. So
Yeah, that's all right. Thank you. We just want you to be happy. Very nice. All the
Yes,
best.
yes, Prabhuji. I'm always
Hare
with.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. Okay, now who is like the next? Divashi Mataji, would you like to say? Oh, you're showing your face now. That's good. Okay. Don't get me wrong. I'm not attacking anybody. Just my way. I'm just like this. I'm very hard case. Yes. Hari Bol. Divashi Mataji is there?
Yes, Prabhuji, I'm there. Sorry, I'm joining from two devices, that's why.
Okay. Yes. So you know the question? You know the question, right?
No, Prabhuji.
You don't know the question? Okay. If somebody can relate her the question, please. Can't help her out. Somebody should help her out. Any one of you? What is the question? Yeah, just say it. Just jump in. Tell the question. Question is?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Mataji. The question is that between last week's class and this week's class, the entire session, what is one thing that you can say is going to help you in intensifying your chanting?
Yes, thank you very much.
What is the one thing that is going to help me intensify my chanting? I think sorry. Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yes, you're audible. You're audible.
Yes. So I did hear last week's lecture as well, and I was listening to this one. There's just a bit of running around, as always there is.
That's all right.
The one thing that that really struck out to me as well is that you mentioned this, that there is a lot of a high level of au- auspiciousness, and one second, I wrote it down as well, that there's a high level of austerity that needs to be done, and pious activities that need to be developed before you can do purified devotional service, and you have to qualify yourself for this. And it's not something very cheap that you think that you just chant a couple of rounds and just do a little bit of reading here and there, and then you can call yourself a devotee. A lot needs to be done for it, and a lot of focused attention needs to go into it, and it's not something very cheap that you can just get like that. So a lot of dedicated attention needs to go into it. So I think that's one thing that was really important for me. Yes.
Yeah, and you remember this for chanting. This will
Sorry?
help you this will help you at chanting.
Yes, Prabhuji, this way, because I
You
think
remember this for chanting. That's
yes,
all I.
Prabhuji.
But
Yes.
remember one thing, you'll find many devotees who say, "Oh no, it's okay, don't be so hard on yourself. You're doing all right." I'm not saying that, right?
Yes.
If they are saying it, you want to listen to them, they become a Shiksha Guru. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, what you just said now, that it's not cheap.
Mhm.
I want you to be serious. I did not object to that. That means I'm approving it. That means I'm saying that. So if you choose to listen to somebody else, they become a Shiksha Guru, not me. I'm not a Shiksha Guru, excuse me, but this is not the mood of Mahavishnu to say now. Please excuse me. I don't want to say that. But this is the Hare Krishna weekend mood is, they're very serious. They're like fire. They are happy to walk alone. Only those of all of you who are really big leaders, happy to walk alone, they can come with us, come with me. If you want crowd, you cannot come with me. So what your realization, what you said, it will be tested in the future, in your life. Remember this conversation. Okay?
Yes.
That does not mean that whatever you're doing is wrong or something sometimes you cannot do, sometimes you falter, that is bad. No, it's not bad. But don't keep it's not a laurel thing. That's all right, keep moving. You just say keep moving, keep adding, no problem, happens. But nowadays there is a big thing in a system. They say, oh, it's okay, no problem. And the Radha Krishna like this and who they go like this. They walk also like this. They feel and speak like this. Big people talk like this. I don't approve this. They may eat chocolate and talk like this. They will have beer and talk like this. We don't do. Krishna consciousness is not cheap. That's the point. All right.
Yes,
Very
Prabhuji.
nice. Thank you very much. Very question. Somebody raised the hand and put a question. Who was that? Question on this one. You had a question of what I was explaining to Mataji? Very well. Somebody made a point, made a note somewhere, which came up.
Hare Krishna, Ru. I by accident sent a message on Zoom and I deleted it later. So I think you got a notification by that.
Oh, it was a mistake.
Yeah.
Okay. That's no problem. Wonderful. All right. Now, Dolly Mataji, could you please share your answer, please? She's not there. Mata, you are mute. You don't mute yourself, mother. Yes, sorry.
Hare Krishna. So like this is about chanting, how we
So you understand the question? Yeah, understand the question?
yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, right. So what is the answer then?
So it's about how to intensify our chanting. Is that I understood right, Prabhuji?
Sorry?
How we intensify our chanting, like how we purify our chanting?
No, that is not the case. Swami Madari, can you answer the question, please? Can you repeat the question to her, please? You answered very nicely. So you become a go-to person this today, because you understood the question very well. So you will have to ask everybody. You see, this is the point, People don't understand. What can I do? Answer the question, please. What is the question you are asked?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, the question is that in this class, today's class and last week's class, in this entire session, what is the one thing that is going to help you? What is one thing which you will remember and is going to help you intensify your chanting?
Very nice. Thank you very much. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, sorry, I was a bit disruptive because of the guest last week's class. So I listened it. I will still listen it the whole class later.
That's all right. That's all right.
But yeah, today I was a bit aware of our. So how you are explaining about all the childhood pastime of Krishna. I remember when I used to watch that on, like, especially with Subhadra, all the time I used to show, and then she was listening as well, and she was just reminding herself that I know this story. So with this, I really like that one example when you said that how Brahma took all the Krishna's friend and cowherd boys and the cows, and then when Krishna creates the new cowherd boys and to just make the cowherd boys' mother happy, because he was seeing that all the cowherd boys' mothers were so upset that they were looking for their son to return from the farm. And when Krishna creates these friends and the cows, there was a different kind of pleasure these cowherd boys was giving to their mom, and they were like, because that was all Krishna's form. It came from Krishna. Krishna just like originate everybody from him. And here when we feel, I realize that if we feel that, if we know that we are also part and parcel of Krishna, and like how, we try to give the pleasure, and this pleasure we can only give if we purify ourselves with the chanting. So it is true that we came here to know that we are part and parcel of Krishna. But how can we purify ourselves, intensify ourselves is just because of the chanting. So this is one point I was realizing that can help, that if we realize this thing, that, how we are also part and parcel of Krishna, then we can satisfy ourselves with this thing. And then it will definitely helps us to improve chanting. And obviously that remembering Krishna, and especially remembering Krishna's pastimes in the childhood, is also gives us such a different kind of feeling, that, how we all know about all Krishna's pastime. We have been learning and watching and listening about all that. And that to remember Krishna's childhood and just remember all this, pastimes, is definitely helps us to, that what I realized, that how Krishna did so much, was so like did all these grateful things only in the childhood. And so this is that it is such an innocent ways of Krishna, that we can only try to purify our part and parcel this way by doing our chanting. And this is the only feeling which can intensify our chanting. That's what I realized from it.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Hare Krishna. Okay, all right, now we open to everybody, whoever wants to. All of you are now, the cameras are on. If you'd like to say, give your answers, please. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hari Bol. Yes, madam.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, madam.
Yes, Guruji. There's a realization as well as question from last week and today's class. Like on last week, we have discussed regarding the pure devotee qualities. There is attachment and knowledge about Krishna. And today we have discussed that not only gyan or knowledge will not help you in the devotional service in order to understand about Krishna, but by mercy of Krishna only we'll be able to understand Krishna, or by devotion. So there are two contradictory things, like we should have knowledge as well as we should have, by mercy of Krishna only we'll be able to understand about Krishna. So how
Yes.
is that?
This is the answer. See, by not reading about Krishna, we are not going to understand Krishna. But only by reading about Krishna, we are not going to get Krishna. So reading about Krishna is our endeavor. Right? We take out time, we study, we forego watching television or India-Pakistan cricket match, and we're studying. Everybody's jumping and we are crying in the room, we're studying. All these things are going on. That's our endeavor, correct? But that does not mean that Krishna is obliged to give us pure devotional service for him. Understanding that is maturity. Sacrificing for Krishna is our duty. But expecting Krishna to reciprocate is something which somebody loves unconditionally, doesn't ask. They always say that this person is better than me, Krishna, give them. You understand? Krishna contradicted. It is clearly said. Because next verse also it mentions that by reading the, anyway, this is the point we understood, right? You understood this point?
Yes.
This is Radharani's quality. Radharani's mercy we are asking for, because she tells everybody, you go and say, Radharani, Krishna, please, I want her. I said, very good, Krishna, very big devotee of yours. You must give mercy to her. She immediately gives. That is Radharani. Yeah? And Krishna is also actually very merciful. You go to him, he'll dance with you. Very nice. Very come. He is not saying, who are you? You introduce yourself. What is your, give us your name, appointment letter. The secretary gives appointment. Nothing like that. You just meet him, he meets you. You meet him nicely. Hare Krishna. They said, I don't know you. They will never say this to you. Because they know you. We are part and parcel of Krishna, all of us. So when we approach them, they recognize us very much. They make us feel at home. They do not say, okay, here is those devotees who are senior to you. we are reciprocating with them first, and then we'll talk to you. No. Even those devotees will call us also. Come, sit down. So when they're discussing, you're discussing with them. But the thing is this, endeavor we have to take. And Krishna is very kind. That's why he creates Maya Devi for it, illusory energy, which keeps us bound in this material world, including Brahma. Yeah. So we just remove that, then there is nothing. There is no, it's just when in the spiritual world there is nothing. No enviousness, no envy. You are with Krishna, playing with them, serving them, looking with them, serving them. Yes, serving meaning what? Oh, serving is the serving means that then you are making them garlands, this, that, all this. Huge. Okay, is it all right? Question is answered?
Yes.
Yeah, and your answer to that was, sorry, I couldn't get an answer.
Yeah, we need to increase our devotional service so that by the mercy of Krishna, we'll be able to chant more rounds and we can pray to Lord Krishna, that we can increase our devotional activities also by following the process, by reading books and by increasing our chanting.
The studying is important. Knowledge is
Yes.
important. Wisdom is important. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, let it go next, please. Come in. Thank you. Yes, Mataji, please come.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes.
It's actually, I think I'm a little bit confused. It's kind of technical. So in the past time that you said, there were 3 sets of cowherd boys and calves, right? I am not exactly understanding what were the 3 sets and exactly how the time transfers. Like, I understand that Brahma did not really take the cowherd boys. It was we thought that that is what he took. And then the one set of boys that Brahma took, but he did not really take. And one set of
Krishna's illusion. They took those illusions.
They were Krishna. Okay.
He took somebody, but they were not his cowherd boys. Yeah.
Okay, so that was Krishna's illusory energy that Brahma took. And the second set of boys were the ones who were waiting for Krishna by the side of Yamuna.
They were there.
They were the real ones. They were waiting for Krishna while Krishna was searching for the cows, right?
Yes, that's right. And the third one was Krishna manifesting himself as cowherd boys.
Hello. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Bol.
And sorry, I think there was a network issue. So the second set of boys, they were the ones who were waiting by the side of Yamuna for Krishna while he was searching for the calves.
Yes.
And they were the real ones. And they even the 1 year passed for them because they grew in size. But it only fell to them as if it was a moment, right?
Yes.
And the third set was, and then who was the third set of cowherd boys, Prabhuji?
Krishna himself. He manifested Vishnu Murtis.
Okay.
That long, boring chapter, part 3 and part 4, all of you were sleeping. Was that? How huge philosophy. No? All of us went to sleep. I was the only one there alive. Awake. So that is Vishnu Murtis. The Krishna manifested himself. He became cows, cowherd boys, and calves. That's why the mother cows were very fond of them, young cows. Because there is Krishna. All the mothers of the cowherd boys loved them very much. Cowherd boys loved very much. So Balaram saw. He said, "Hey, what is this going on? Man? They loving the children more than usual. Something is wrong." You understand this? So they are those.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
How
Thank
this
you,
thing
Prabhuji.
works. It is so magical, is it not? All these three at the same time is happening. And those real cowherd boys also did not realize it was just a few seconds for them. Moment. How you came back so fast, they thought. Because Krishna's energy works with it. Yeah. And with the time frame of Brahma, different time frame for him, time frame of earth, but doesn't affect Krishna in any way. You see? But still he was involved in it. Absolutely magical. No, nothing can beat this. No sci-fi movie can beat it. Yeah. Let James Cameron make this, a movie on that, on this. Let's see how we can make it. Is it okay? You got the answer? And you're
Yes,
chanting,
Prabhuji.
3 points then? What is this you are chanting?
Yes, Prabhuji. For that, my answer would be that one thing I noticed in this class is that while I was rewatching the class which you gave 11 months ago, so you gave the last part 11 months ago. So technically, we heard the next part 1 year later, which
Yes.
is the same amount of time that actually traversed between the entire pastime.
That's right.
While yes, so I think I don't know if that was purposely or what, but while I was watching the previous class last week, I did not really remember a lot of things in that class. There were bits and pieces which I remembered, and only when I was hearing them the second time, I was like, "Acha, हाँ, yes, this had taken place. This was the conversation that took place." And just the 1 year that had passed for me, and I was in a different room at that time. I was when I saw, because I had changed rooms, and so much has changed in everyone's lives. And but what Krishna did, it was so magical that for those cowherd boys, even though they had grown in size, a 1 year had passed, but they only felt like a moment had passed. So I think yes, that is so magical, and yes, that there were 3 sets of cowherd boys, and it was very magical to understand and hear, and that is how mystical Krishna is. So I think that really helps me understand Krishna better, and how mystical he is. So I can serve. I should be serving him better since he's so mystical, and I think that would help me in increasing or intensifying my chanting probably.
Okay, very nice. Thank you. My only suggestion to you is that there are 3 sets. Don't reveal this to everybody. For the masses of people, there are only 2 sets. Brahma took and Krishna manifested. That's it. Keep it. This information is not readily available. I've heard this information so many times in ISKCON and wherever. Nobody has said this. But it's readily available. I do not know why. But we don't want to get into all those things. When we speak to somebody else, or when you also hear somebody else doing a big class, big version, having big garland around him and doing kathas and all those things, and he says two cassettes, not 3. He doesn't say 3, but 2. Don't challenge the person. Forget about it. You got knowledge. You are interested in our knowledge. You are not interested in showing other person that doesn't have knowledge. By showing other doesn't have knowledge, our knowledge doesn't increase. But by knowing that he doesn't have full knowledge, I've got a little bit of knowledge, and keeping quiet, our maturity increases. Think about it. Okay. Wonderful. Hare Krishna. Okay. Who would like to go next, please? There was some question raised. Yes.
Prabhu, I had one question. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare.
Prabhu, when you said that very Brahmas from different universes came, like four-head Brahma, we are in the universe which has four-head Brahmas. There are universes where Brahma has millions of heads. So there are different Brahmas, right? And Brahma has such a long lifespan. And Krishna appeared in Dwapar Yuga. So in Brahma's lifetime, there would be multiple Dwapar Yugas and Krishna would appear multiple times. So is it that one Brahma has this pastime happens again and again in one Brahma's lifetime? And if that happens, does Brahma forgets every time that Krishna is God?
No, not necessary. This may or may not happen. But this time it happened, that much we know. All information we don't have. Not all Brahmas can see Krishna also. We don't know. You understand this point?
So,
Yeah. So, but our Brahma in this universe had the opportunity to be envious and see Krishna. But other Brahma in other universe may or may not have the opportunity to see Krishna and become envious. You get this point?
yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. As I said, that do not be good to have questions and all. After certain points, we may not have all the answers. It's very mystical. That's why this part 2 I wrote mystical message. That's why if you remember, you read the WhatsApp message, whatever written there as topic of discussion.
So the hidden meaning behind the pastime, this pastime.
Yeah. Read the thing. Are you reading it?
Just
Read
a
it.
second, Prabhu.
Yeah.
The mystical hidden message is in the stealing of the boys and cows by Brahma.
Yes. So last week I written only hidden message behind. This time I added mystical. Because of this mystical, we are revealing this answer. Yeah. So things doesn't happen just like that with me sometimes. I like to have some reason. If something is kept out of place, there's usually with a reason it's kept out of place. All right. Now your answer, please.
Yes, sir. So the answer is when you uh, talked about the point that when Brahma tried to overpower Krishna, like you said that we should not try to overpower our superiors. So we cannot cheat Krishna. Like in the last class, you said that Krishna was in the heart of Brahma also. So he knew already that Brahma is doing this. So when I chant very fast, when I try to like complete just my rounds, try to cheat Krishna. Krishna knows he's in my heart. So I think I should do chanting more attentively and not try to cheat Krishna.
Very nice. I like that. Not the channel. You should not try to cheat Krishna by running fast. Krishna says, who are you talking to? Very good. I'm sure you're not doing that. I do that. Sometimes, not most of the times. Hare Krishna. Very nice. Yes, who would like to be next, please? Yes, Father, please come. So you want to understand, this is my way of trying to make sure that we don't forget things. Because in any given week, we are discussing so many times, so many things, philosophy also, material things also. So we remember. Yes, please, please.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for the very wonderful classes and sessions. I did not have the opportunity last weekend to attend the class, but I managed to watch the YouTube video. So thank you for maintaining that channel. It really helps me a lot personally.
Helps me a lot. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Even I heard it.
Yes. So
Not because
the
I like
class.
it, I hate it. That's why I heard it. I want to see what are the points, what are the points were covered, not covered. Yeah, and please continue.
So there were a couple of points that, if you may allow, I may say that will help me intensify my chanting, as you said. So number one point, Prabhu, you in the last class gave the example of Arjunacharya, where he was writing Krishna. I'm forgetting the shloka. Personally, yes, but the shloka. Ananya Chintayastoma, Yogakshamyam Vahamyam. So Krishna says that I personally deliver my devotees. I deliver my devotees. So Arjunacharya just put two dashes, and then two boys came, and their back was with his back was with two sticks. So that point, Prabhu, meditating on that point, that if we are sincere with our devotional service, then Krishna personally, we need to have that faith. I need to have that faith that Krishna will personally protect his devotees, and if we follow the instructions of his pure devotees, then Krishna will show us some mercy by protecting us. So that is one that will help me intensify. Second point, Prabhu, in today's class, you mentioned that slipping into lower modes is very dangerous. You mentioned about how slipping into Rajas and Tamas is very dangerous, and we should maintain our life in such a way. You also wrote on one of the posts in beginners group that devotional service is disciplined service. So if we have discipline in our life, and that discipline basically means that we keep most of our life, or try to keep most of it, in the mode of goodness, then we may start to understand these subtle nuances of bhakti. right? And you said that bhakti we don't perform right now, we perform on the liberated stage, but at least we will start, on that platform of
It is
mode of
Mishra
goodness.
Bhakti. It is Mishra Bhakti.
Yes, Mishra Bhakti, exactly.
Bhakti
Yes,
is
so
yeah.
yes, Prabhu. So not pure bhakti though. So third point, Prabhu, you said in today's class that Krishna manifests according to his own wish. You cannot force him to manifest. You cannot even see if Krishna does not want you to see, right? And everything is manifested in this world because Krishna desires it to be. He wants it to be manifested. So if that is the case for the things around us, then what about Krishna himself, right? So somehow or the other, if we develop this mood that we need to please Krishna, and rather than doing devotional service for some of our benefit, somehow we develop this mood that we understand what Krishna wants and we please Krishna. Uh, so that mood, Prabhu, if we inculcate via chanting, so that is there, that we are doing chanting so that Krishna becomes pleased, so that we may get some service to Krishna, because anyway we are so insignificant. And like you said, the tiger, the cows, the bees of Vrindavan, they are so absorbed in Krishna's service. So if we can also get that mood that we can also be absorbed in the thought of serving Krishna, for Krishna, not for our own ego. So that is one point, Prabhu. And the last point, Prabhu, as
That
Brahma.
Prabhupada says. That Prabhupada says.
Yes, Prabhu. So
I repeated the words.
this mood was very nice. And Prabhu, then the last point is that Brahmaji, like he wanted to, as he said, out of envy, he wanted to show his powers and his mysticism and take the boys away. So that struck me as that he wanted to be the center of attraction. That okay, I also have these powers and I can do all of this. Who is this guy? Why and why is everybody around him? And he just killed this demon. Oh, so what? So I can also do much more greater things. So he wanted to become center of attraction, Prabhu. And this is a tendency in me also, and that more often than not we forget that the center of attraction is actually Krishna. The center of universe is Krishna, and we are not the center of universe nor the center of attraction. We are just on the fringes, somehow trying to do best what our seniors have told us, and living satisfactorily in that. So yes, Prabhu, this desire to get respect and this desire to become the center of attraction, Prabhu, that that is a issue with me. So yes, Prabhu. So this will also help me by meditating on this pastime. My chanting will become better because this will help me in that mood of Trinadapi Sunichena and Taroreva Sahasrana. So yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. All the best. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yes, Prabhu. Just start. Don't ask. Don't raise your hand. Just start. Please. Jump in. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for this wonderful classes, this session. Last during last class, the line which made me do more or intensify my chanting was that Path Prabhu covered. Krishna himself comes to deliver his devotees. So that was one wonderful thing, because that's what we want. We want Krishna. So he's so merciful towards his devotees. So we should intensify our chanting and be as good devotee as we can be, as pure as we can be. And today, as we sometimes we, even devotees challenge Krishna, but we are not. I am certainly not on that level. So I do challenge Krishna. We do challenge Krishna sometimes, that if Krishna is there, he'll help me, or that, or all the miseries at that point. And we also, though by curiosity or something, we try to, think that really is Krishna supreme, so he's doing that or this. Although we know that in our heart that he's supreme, but we try to, find out things. So as you said, don't try to measure Krishna, just surrender to him. Because with our small minds, we cannot measure the mistakes of Krishna. So we should totally surrender to him and surrender to the devotees, Krishna's pure devotees. So that's how we can get liberated. And chanting, kirtan, reading books, these are all the processes to get liberated. The real bhakti will start at the point of liberation, you said. That's what struck me, that to get towards the real bhakti, we should do our daily sadhanas more attentively, more with more intense, and do not to cheat Krishna. And one more thing that you said to Srishti Mataji, that once you get there to Krishna, he will not ask you to introduce yourself. Like in this material world, everywhere we go, we have to introduce, even in association, that I'm this and this, I'm doing this. Krishna knows you, so he's there. He welcomes you with everything. Then just come and dance with me. You said that's what struck me. That what that what real happiness everyone wants. So this will surely intensify my chanting. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Everything good is by Srila Prabhupada, next thing for his mercy. Stick to the pure devotees, Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. There are many people who come and say, I'm pure, or there are thousands of followers behind them, big garlands around them. That doesn't mean they are pure. You judge purity by your hearing, not by your sight. Okay? And by actions. They may say whatever they want to say, but over a period of time, what are the actions? That's important. Yeah. Judge a person by his actions, not by his words. Well, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Bharata, Mataji, please come.
The one thing that I found which will help in my chanting is that when you mentioned that Lord Brahma bowed down in front of Krishna, the tears which were there, they were also purified because they fell in in the foot of Krishna. So that will definitely, like, if the tears are also getting purified, then if we sincerely endure, then why can't we get purified? We can surely try. So, and one more thing, that Prabhu, only by devotion we can understand all the Vedas or all the knowledge. We can't just philosophically try to understand it by reading books or like that. So we must
You can
chant
understand
more.
Krishna. By Vedas, you can't understand Krishna. You can understand Krishna by devotional service. That's it.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for the nice classes. Hare Krishna. And thank you to all the wonderful devotees here for contributing their realizations. So the one thing that will help me in my chanting, I was thinking, was that, we always say the underlying seed principle of Krishna consciousness. Always remember Krishna and never forget him too. So how do I remember Krishna? When I'm trying to do is I'm trying to remember Krishna and his pastimes. And how sessions helping me in doing that. The one thing that really, really attracts the most for me the quality of Krishna is, Krishna is a supreme person. There is no other term for it. And he, how he has presented himself in the mystical way, the way that he can do anything, because he's a supreme person. Like we all are bound by, we can't do this, or this is not right. Everything that Krishna does, these pastimes are telling us that it's impossible to really understand. But if you have faith that Krishna can do anything, because he's a supreme personality, I'm trying to develop that faith, then it can help me pure, unconditional, unmotivated service. So that consciousness, and trying to remember Krishna. And then also like a point that was raised by Path Prabhu, that Krishna is always there. That is very, very important. So that's how you build your faith and your devotion. And it increases and intensifies your helps you stand, because you are blessing Lord Krishna and loving me to always engage in their. So I think that this point where Krishna displays these pastimes, where we try to understand things logically or in intelligently or in any, it's not going to help. So I just accept that point that because Krishna is a God, he can do anything possible. Then that perfection for me to be able to intensify my chanting. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Yes, please. There is a note written somewhere. Your voice is not echoing. Is echoing. There may be multiple devices. Yes, even my device was there. I reduced it, but still it was there. Minimum I kept. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Hope you guys could hear. Okay, who would like to go next, please? Thank you.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, Ambarisa, for such a wonderful pastime, and you narrated it very beautifully as well. Yeah, I think last session I was a bit disfocused, but this session I think I managed to. So many new I think points actually I came across, but I think one thing that will actually probably help me to improve my chanting is I was thinking where actually Lord Brahma is a topmost living entity. He tried to mystify Krishna, but Krishna is the greatest mystic. He actually mystified him in the end. So I was thinking, like you made this very important point, that we should never try to supersede our superiors, otherwise we get mystified ourselves. So I think that's a very good realization, Prabhuji. Thank you for sharing, because we have to keep in mind, because I was thinking, I remember Guru Maharaj, one of the instruction that we think that sometime, we do devotional service here and there, and we think that we are not under illusion, because a point while I was listening, and how Krishna actually managed to actually show, Lord Brahma, he's actually whatever we call it, mystic, or he got jealous. That actually, I was thinking same way, whenever you get puffed up, actually Krishna always show our real position, even its illusory position. So that is what I realized, that sometimes karma comes back, and we understand, this just a slap in the face. So and probably this happened in much, at higher scale, Lord Brahma is not ordinary entity. So, but still, actually he can get illusioned or mystified, then certainly we can, no matter what we think we are. But it was beautiful past and I think there is only another point actually I was thinking during the past time that Krishna bewildered everyone, in this universe. And I was thinking that, and we have forgotten our identity. Means we heard this point many times, by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, and we always did so. But where it's actually comes out quite clearly that actually we have forgotten ourselves, our real identity. And only Krishna reveal, he chooses to whom he want to reveal. So, and then I remember this point, actually, all the knowledge, remember remembrance of your real identity, So even Srila Prabhupada once said that actually Krishna will reveal your identity, when you are actually qualify for that. So, so we cannot actually insist on Krishna that I'm a devotee and actually I should realize my real Sarup. Krishna chooses, So actually, all this forgetfulness is also given to us, by Krishna only, and I think that can be taken away by only him. So I think if I meditate on this point, and I try to become humble, because, and the last point, the very actually beautiful point, actually, you mentioned that in the end, when Krishna Lord Brahma came, actually he bowed down with his 4 heads, tears rolling down his cheeks. And still Krishna actually didn't say anything. He pretended, he's just like ordinary boy in Vrindavan, with his actually sweet rice in his hand. And that was real, actually, means by doing nothing, actually, Krishna actually gave a very real instruction that he's all powerful, but he didn't show any of his power, he pretended. So actually, the powerful person are those who do not show their power unnecessarily, unless it's really necessary. Because, Guru,
yes.
Guru Maharaj always say that that we always try to, one way or other, try to show our activities to the other, make them known. We do not want to keep it quiet. so, but it's Krishna here is such a supreme personality of Godhead, but still, that's why maybe it is said that he's actually, one of his opulence is actually what we call is actually
renunciation.
Renunciation. Renunciation. He has everything, but he's still not attached to that. He do not want to show it unnecessarily. So thank you very much, Prabhuji. I think this will really help me actually, how to become a real human being, probably. Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for today's class and last class as well. It's very nice. This is the second one.
Yes, it's a bit echo, but it's okay. You can go on. We can hear you.
Sorry, Prabhuji. So thank you very much, Prabhuji, for both the classes, last one and this one. It's really nice. Me also was thinking same like Sanju Prabhu and Sukan Prabhu has mentioned that the pastime is so so nice that because I already mentioned last time as well that I used to watch the Little Krishna with Navina, and then I used to see how the devotees like cowherd boys and cows are, that they are so like I used to feel so lucky, so fortunate they're having the association of Krishna and they're playing with Krishna, and then so nice bond between them and all. And it was like I used to feel like that how how nice, how fortunate they are like that, but they're so pure soul and pure devotee. That's why they were with Krishna, and then they have must done so many austerities and all. And then and then I was like, I was just feeling that I don't even do the chanting properly. How can I should expect that I should have been in that time. So I was like it's even thinking that I should be with that time with Krishna is like so foolish for me, because I'm not doing my chanting as well properly. So that time I used to feel like, if you want, like our Guru Maharaj always quote, and Srila Prabhupada says that chanting brings you more closer to Krishna. So that time I was like feeling that, and the last times your Prabhuji, your lecture, that is, yes, only chanting can bring you towards to the Krishna, and that will help me to intensify my chanting. And plus also, Prabhuji, today you also mentioned that we need to put our knowledge in into the practice. But how we getting the knowledge? Because we need to read Krishna scriptures. We need to learn Krishna. When we understand Krishna and to intensify our chanting, then only Krishna's philosophy will reveal us more. So these 2 points, Prabhuji, I take it. It will help me for my chanting. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. And the same with you and your Srila Prabhu also mentioned that our identity is revealed by the chanting. When Krishna is satisfied by our chanting, service, everything that we do culminates in the chanting. Studying, chanting. Cooking for Krishna, chanting. Aarti, chanting. Everything should fall under it, because it's a Yuga Dharma. So it is this chanting which reveals our true identity when we are ready. Nobody else can reveal it. Yes, very nice. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, everybody is done. Is someone remaining? I think we have completed now. Yes, I think anyone has any questions or anything to share? I'll just wait for 10 more seconds before we conclude today. Okay, Hare Krishna. So wonderful. Today, whose turn is it now to sing Maharaj, Maharaj, please hear us? Is it my turn?
It's my turn, Prabhuji.
Oh, it's your turn, Madhavji. Did you have your nice water in the water bottle? Yes, very nice. Okay, now sing very nicely with nice good actions. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Maharaj, Maharaj, please hear us.
Maharaj, Maharaj, please hear us.
We have learned some real good stuff.
We have learned some real good stuff.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
And today for you we will sing.
And today for you we will sing.
If our room is clean,
If our room is clean,
then our mind is clean.
then our mind is clean.
If our mind is clean,
If our mind is clean,
then we can do anything.
then we can do anything.
If our room is dirty,
If our room is dirty,
then so are we.
then so are we.
And if we are dirty,
we are dirty,
we're not happy.
we are not happy.
Wasting time
Wasting time
is the greatest crime.
is the greatest crime.
Because wasted time means a wasted mind.
The wasted mind.
So best is your time.
So best use your time
when you're in your prime.
when you're in your prime.
And your whole life
And your whole life
will be sublime.
will be sublime.
If your wealth is gone,
If your wealth is is gone,
then there's nothing wrong.
then there is nothing wrong.
But if your health is gone,
If your health is gone,
that's a different song.
that's a different song.
If your character dies,
If your character dies,
then the world will cry.
then the world will cry.
Only saintly behavior,
Only saintly behavior,
that's humanity thrive.
that's humanity thrive.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
We must always remember Krishna.
We must always remember Krishna
And never forget him too.
and never forget him too.
But we should practice this with so many things to do.
But how are we to practice this with so many things to do?
That is the greatest question.
That is the greatest question.
And here's the greatest clue.
And here is the greatest clue.
We must learn to look so nicely that Krishna remembers you.
You must learn to work so nicely that Krishna remembers you. So
listen very closely.
So listen very closely.
And make your thinking sharp.
And make your thinking sharp.
Let's learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart.
Let's learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart.
If something sees tomorrow,
If something is due tomorrow,
finish it today.
finish it today.
Whatever sees today,
Whatever is due today,
do it now, don't delay.
do it now, don't delay.
Your friends might be lazy.
Your friends might be lazy
Or doing bad things.
or doing bad things.
Do you think again?
But you think again,
Don't follow them.
don't follow them,
And you'll win the end.
and you will win the end.
Whatever what we're given,
Whatever what we are given,
we do our very best.
we do our very best.
We only live with what we can give Krishna the rest.
We only give what we need and give Krishna the rest.
So this is how to live. If you like going to play,
You learn to live this way.
I only see Krishna every day.
This is how to live, to work and to play. You learn to live this way. You'll see Krishna every day.
And when the time is up, he takes us above. We'll sing and dance to him with a heart full of love.
So chant Krishna's name, his glories and his fame. When the time is up, we'll take us up above. We'll sing and dance with him with a heart full of love. So
chant Krishna's name, his glories and his fame is the only way this world will ever become sane.
So chant Krishna's name, his glories and his fame. It's the only way in this world we can never become sane.
Now please ask this greatest question.
Now please ask this greatest question.
And find this greatest clue.
And find this greatest clue.
You can only remember Krishna.
You can only remember Krishna.
If Krishna remembers you.
If Krishna remembers you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Ganesh Shila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj Shila Gurudev Ki Jai. Jagat Guru Shri Sivandesh Abhay Charnar Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Shri Bhagavad Gita Hari Ki Jai. Granthnath Shri Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Namo Vishnupada Ki Sarvastar Bhutale Srimati Mahavishnu Goswami Ki Namine. Namo Vishnupada Ki Sarvastar Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Ki Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurmani Prasayane. Nirvishesh Sunyavadi Prasad Namaskar. Hare Krishna. So with this we conclude today's session. Now a quick prelude. I'll find some time and write. So for Thursday is Janmashtami festival, Shri Janmashtami festival. Ki Jai. So we'll be online on New Zealand time from 9 to 12 o'clock at night. So which would mean it may affect your cricket match. I don't know, cricket match going on. So you have to choose, either your work or cricket game or us. You have three choices. There's no devotion service in between, so it's a daytime. So you're busy with your work. So that will be the starting leaders group, leaders devotees will be giving the realizations. I don't know whether I want to give. They already given twice in sessions I've taken. So depending upon the time, I'll speak. Otherwise, leaders will speak from 9 to 12. Yeah, in the night New Zealand time. So it will be 6.5 hours. We are 6.5 hours early for me. Currently it's 2:30 in the afternoon. Yeah, from 2:30 onwards. Okay. Now the next day, which is Friday, with Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Gas Puja Ki Jai. So we are doing a program. It's not a big program, it's a small program. But we're doing it in our center, Samyaprash Ashram. So you do not know this, we are calling it Samyaprash Ashram. So that Samyaprash Ashram is here in Auckland. It will be wherever you are. You want to call your home, where there's pitching going on, you call Samyaprash Ashram. This is what Guru Maharaj wanted. So, I wanted one program, ashram. Will serve Guru Maharaj with hundreds of thousands of ashrams around the world. So there will be live. We are trying to do a live broadcasting from our center. That will be from 10:30 in the morning, New Zealand time, till about 2:30, 3 o'clock. See how we go. Because 10:30 would just be beginning the kirtans and all. For an hour or so. Then from around 11:30, 11 o'clock onwards, homages will start. You will give homages to Prabhupada. Then from 12 o'clock, there will be for Bhoga offering to Prabhupada. And then I think about 1 o'clock or so, it will continue this whole program. 12:30 or 1 o'clock, we will have then Pushpanjali for Prabhupada, and then Guru Puja of Prabhupada, and then we'll switch off because we're going to have big feast. So there are special cooks who are cooking. If you eat our feast, you will not eat for the whole year. You will say, Prabhuji, I want to eat that one feast, and that's it for the whole year. That's what we're going to have. So much milk and cheese and butter and yogurt but no chocolate and no fizzy drinks. Apart that, everything is there. So we're going to have a big party. We'll switch off by the time, so you won't get envious. I'm sure you'll have a party back in India, which you should have. In the future, we'll all be together also, Krishna willing, if Guru Maharaj wants it, and we can all have together big feast. We'll show you how it is done also. Avinash will also be there this time with you guys. So we did something, And but we also hope that one of these days, because there's a lot of demand here, for us to be in Auckland and do the program, because many devotees are feeling a little disenfranchised from the temple. Some of them are kicked out, some of them are out, so we are giving them a shelter here. Some of them are doing that with us. So we have to. My focus is a little bit here now at the moment, to stabilize this, and then we can come there. But someone who hopefully will be coming to you also. So don't worry, we're not teasing you, but we're still teasing you. So we'll switch off the live stream after Guru Puja when we have a feast. So we'll have a big party then. But all of you, please have your breakfast. You must have, if you can observe full day fast for Janmashtami. Okay. If you cannot observe full day fast, if you're studying, if you're working, your health reasons are there and all, so don't worry, don't have the fast. If you can, have without water. If not, then have it water. If you have to eat something, have some fruits or Ekadashi Prasadam. No problem. With health reason, walking reason, or whatever it is. But if you can't do that also, you have to eat, then no problem. Chant extra rounds. Chant a bit more if you can. Don't chant extra rounds, just at least chant your normal rounds, but chant with intensity. Thanking Krishna, remembering Krishna. Yeah. So remember this, I'm again saying this. Well, if you can fast the whole day without water, that's great, but you must. If you can't, no problem, with water you can have. If you can't, you can have no problem with fruits and Ekadashi Prasadam you can have. If not, then you can have it normal food. Many devotees don't observe fast. We are the only mad ones who observe it. Okay, very few of us do. But we do. Okay. And in the night at 12 o'clock, break your fast. If you're fasting, then break your fast with Ekadashi Prasada. Okay, water, first drink water. If you are fasting without water, then first drink water. Okay, and then you can have Ekadashi Prasada. If you don't have some fruits and all. But if you're eating normal, then eat normal. I mean, there's no to break your fast at 12 o'clock. Then you just celebrate happy birthday to Krishna and then go to sleep. So no problem. It's up to you. Okay, all is okay. Nothing is this thing. Now, important thing is next is Prabhupada of Vyasa Puja. You must observe fast. Okay, if you die, die. Which I call it, I can't say that thing. Sorry, don't die. Please don't die. So tomorrow you'll sue me for this. International Council will come. The people die. I don't want to solve those things, please. So best is if you can observe fast. Please observe fast, half day fast till 12 o'clock. Okay? And after 12 o'clock, not whole day, 12 o'clock. At 12 o'clock, then have your water, continue fast with the water. Or eating something. Normally you have Ekadashi, then just have your normal food. Don't have water, just have normal food if you can. With it. And from 12 o'clock onwards, then it's normal. Okay? Again, please just say if you can't do it, have normal food, Prashadam, no problem at all. So don't feel that way. Just want to let you know. Okay, is this all right to all of you? All right? Don't run away. So I don't want to become Krishna conscious. There's so much fasting and feasting. But it's hard. But as I said, don't worry, no fasting, don't fast. Is it okay? Any questions? Anybody, anyone of us, any one of you have any questions on this? No? Okay. As I said, if the parents say, no, you must eat, you must not, don't fight with them. No, I'm going to go. Don't do all those things. Okay, keep quiet. Just chant around this stuff. Nobody will bother about it. That's more important than fighting with anybody. All right? We don't fight with anybody. But we don't allow anybody to stop our bhakti. We find a way in doing things. Okay? No fighting, please. All right? Those of you, especially who are studying and you are in the camp or outside, so your situation is limited. We have full so much we eat 2 days, 1 day before, so we can fast next day. You guys can't do it. So that's fine. You can just continue what you are doing. Have your food channel. If you can't, then have normal food with chant. All of you also the same thing. Is this okay? If for health reasons, you must keep your health first. Health is priority. Both health, physical health and mental health. So both are equally important. Please, please, please. All right? Only then we can have chanting. Otherwise, you don't perform bhakti also. These days have changed now. All right? Anyone has any questions on this, please? Is this clear? Okay, no questions? Yes, somebody raise their hands. Sushi Madari, yes, tell me.
Prabhu, just a little clarification. So Janmashtami, the entire from since morning to 12 a.m. in the night?
No, from 12 o'clock in the night to 12 in the night.
At 12 p.m. afternoon till 12
No. 12 a.m. night to 12 a.m. night.
Okay. Okay.
24 hours.
24
if you
hours.
can. Okay. Yeah. If you want to do this, there's a lot of heat and all in India. My suggestion is this: have some sweet. But don't have sweet with ghee, then you will feel thirsty. Don't do that. Ideal if you can have it is that must, jaggery and mambras and all, make ladus of it and have it 1 day before that. Drink plenty of water and then go to sleep. So what I'm trying to say is that you can, because sweet is needed in the fasting part. So just observe that if you're doing it that way. But don't kill yourself. If you have some other sweet with ghee and all that, then you will be bound to drink more water. You will make you drink more water. Don't do all those things. As I said, we are at home, so we can arrange things. Devotees at home. So, but if you're not at home, do not get too worked up. If you can do it, please do it. You're young people, is the time to do. Older people cannot do. Those who are older with physical ability, we are allowed not to do. Mothers who are caring for the children, they should not do. And if you got any medical conditions, you must observe that. Okay. All right. Good. Any other questions? Prabhupada Vyasa is half day fast, till 12 o'clock. Okay. So night you can break your fast with Janmashtami, Ekadashi, Prasadam if you are having that. And then after that, morning you can have, if you want to drink water and all, no problem. Have normal thing. But not normal prasad, normal food. Grains food from 12 o'clock onward. Ekadashi food from Janmashtami night, keep eating if you want to eat. Then at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock, Ekadashi you can keep eating. Till 12 o'clock in the afternoon, the Prabhupada tells you. Alright? Okay? As I said, now some of devotees do, some of them don't do, many of them don't do. So it's up to them, whatever passes. We don't criticize anybody, we don't judge anybody. Okay, all done? I'll wait for 10 more seconds just in case. I want to be sure. Okay then, thank you very much. So Krishna willing, we'll see you on Thursday. If you can come, please come. If you can't come, no problem. All glories to you and have a wonderful Janmashtami. All of you. You don't have to be with big congregation people to have Janmashtami. You can be alone and have Janmashtami. You should do that too. No problem. All good. Krishna is with you. We are all with you. And you're all with us. Okay? So, Jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Krishna willing, we'll see you next. We'll see you on Thursday or Friday or Sunday. Till the time, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna.